Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
But no Matt Murray. Matt Murray's not here this week. He's got real life stuff going on and we all know what that's like, don't we? So Matt unfortunately can't be here this week. Hopefully he'll be back next week. We will start the show as we usually start the show, regardless of Matt not being here. It is the Full Nels crew. Here we go. You ready, Full Nels crew? Here comes your names. Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Gabby Pereira, Fuzzballs, Jill Fridge, and Sluggish Bubble. They are the Full Nels crew. And if you would like to join them, what was this wait for? Well, go on, I was in full flow then.
We need to talk about Jill Fridge.
It's taken us ages to work that out, haven't we?
We didn't work it out. Shout out to Gary Dutton for pointing this out.
Right, yeah.
How did we miss this?
Go on.
So, for those who haven't noticed, Jill Fridge, Jack Oven, right?
Genius.
But it is. But also, do they know each other? Are they married?
Well, this is it, isn't it?
Are they?
That's a bit. Is Jack Oven legitimately Jack Oven? And then someone just went, I don't want my real name on the... I mean, why anyone would not want their real name read out in the Full Nels crew is beyond me. But unless they work for Caden Rince, which is possible. But like, did they hear Jack Oven and think, oh, I know, Jill Fridge?
I can riff off that.
I've just had a look on Google and Jack Ovens do exist.
Don't do that.
No, they do. Yeah, they do exist. So it's like...
Okay.
It's not a made-up name, I don't think.
Yeah.
Jack Oven's sitting there listening to this saying, don't Google me.
Get off.
Googling me. Don't Google the full... Is there some sort of like data protection thing? Don't Google me, James Farley. I invite all our listeners to get James back by Googling him.
That's
now.
already happened. They've already done that. We've had all that. Yeah.
If you would like to join the Full Nels crew, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS. There are various different tiers and you help support the show. For example, I'm desperately trying to get a PS5 at the moment, and that would not be possible if it wasn't for our Patreon producers, which makes it sound like I'm going, I'm getting a PS5 because of you lot. But really, it's because I can call James on his bullshit, okay? Because we all...
Bullshit?
What bullshit, James? What bullshit?
Yeah.
What happened this week? What happened this week in the WhatsApp group regarding the PS5?
What did happen? I don't remember.
You admitted to it being fucking massive.
Yeah, I said it was big. I never have disputed the fact that it's big, but just not as massive as like people make it out. People make out it's like the size of a small child. I've already established the fact that it's the size of a cat.
No one made out it's the size of a small child.
Yeah,
everyone said it's fucking massive, and you unboxed it and went, it's not that big. What's everyone moaning about?
It's not, as I said, it's the size of a large cat. It's not, but like a domestic cat.
No one measures
not like
in that.
A cheetah or a lion.
Were you expecting a lion, James?
No, as I said. Exactly. It should have been like, I don't know, a puma or something like that. You know, the size people have been going on about.
You sent me a video of you watching the football, James. You sent me a video of you watching the football, and I saw your PS5 under the telly, and it was all I could look at. It was so big. Joe's aware that I'm in the market for a PS5. I mean, she's got nothing to worry about. You can't fucking buy the things at the moment. But Joe's aware that I'm buying one. And she said, where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? I said, well, don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that. And then I said, do you know what it looks like? She's like, well, I've seen sort of the odd picture or whatever. And I went, well, have a look at the Series X under the telly. Just have a good old look at it. What do you think of it? Oh, it's a big, ugly black box. And I went, right. And then I sent her a comparison between the PS5 and the Series X. And she was just like, oh, fuck off. I mean, that's going to be a shock. It's a big boy. I don't know what everyone's moaning about, James. It's fine. That's the thing.
Fine. Yeah, it's big, but who cares? Why does this matter? It's fine.
Because it's been a couple of months and it's still weird.
It's still weird.
I know I haven't got one in the house, but I'm not used to seeing it still.
I mean, I can't imagine what it looks like next to the S, James.
Well, that's the other thing, because the other day I was playing on the S, and I was just looking at it and thinking, I really like the design of this console. I think it looks brilliant. I'm very, very happy with the Series S. I think it looks fantastic.
Right.
And it probably could.
That's the end of the story, is it?
I'm very happy with the
Fucking hell, I thought it was going somewhere. That was really strange. Actually, now you're the only one on the show with both a next gen Xbox and a PS5. Like, how are you? Where are you at with these two consoles? Like, are you using your PS? What console are you using more?
Well, this is the ridiculous thing, because I have actually used probably the Series S more than the PS5 so far.
Mate.
Okay, why?
Well, because of the games I've been playing, and I'll come to that later. But that's not entirely my fault. So it's just, yeah.
What do you mean? It's no one's fault.
No, it's because the game that I've been playing...
No one's blaming anyone.
No, but the game that I've been playing is about 5 times longer than I thought it was going to be. So I ended up,
right.
And then, you get that thing where I was playing it and Chen just kept on saying to me, look, just stop playing it. Just stop. You're not enjoying it. And I was like, look, I've been playing this for 30 hours now, and it's like, it's a sunk cost. You've got to, just get through.
Good money after bad, mate.
It's like a gambler, isn't it? You've already lost $2,000, but if I spend more, I'm already $2,000 in. I might as well go further.
Using all my bad luck up, and then it'll.
Yeah, but like, how about the PS5? How are you getting on with that? Is it still running fine? Are you playing? What games are you playing on it? What how are you getting on with it?
It is. I mean, I've been playing like Yakuza 4 mostly, which I stopped so that I could just finish off what I've been playing on the Series S. But there is one thing I am a bit worried about with it, actually, and it is the noise.
Too big?
No.
Oh, the noise.
Yeah, because I've definitely got... Okay, I don't think it's the coil whine or whatever, but I think I might have that thing with the sticker or something. Like, because...
The thing with the sticker.
The thing with the sticker with the fan. I think I might have that, because it is in no way
It's
silent.
like when they used to put playing cards in the wheel spokes of your
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's not silent, and that's what I mean about like how I like the Series S, because it's whisper quiet. Whereas the PS5, it's not loud like the PS4 was, but when it's on, it's on. Like you can hear it, and I'm just wondering whether the one I've got is normal or not. And you get that when you first buy something, and there's always those reports of like problems and everything.
Man.
And so you're never sure, is this normal, or is this just mine slightly defective or whatever? So I don't know.
I get anything like that, like a little scratch or a little mark on something, and it completely kills you. Like, it really does. I mean, one thing that I did during the Christmas period was paint the front room, right? And I looked over at the wall, and I saw like some ketchup on the wall that I'd painted, and I was just devastated. I was like, well, the whole thing's ruined now. I might as well paint the whole fucking front room again, because look, it's never going to look right to me now. I'll always notice that little mark. Joe's like, what is the matter with you? We've got 2 children. Of course there's ketchup on the wall. That is that's standard practice, David. And I had to go and have a little sit down. But I know what you're saying. Maybe how long are you going to leave it before you contact Sony?
See, well, that's the thing, because I'd like to know. I don't know if it's loud or not, and I don't want to go through the whole thing of having to. Maybe I should just record it or something and see what people think, because I'm really not sure.
It.
Yeah,
but going through all that arse, going to find out that actually there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and they just sound like this. I have to say though, I am really, the pad is still something I really look forward to using. It is very nice. Not even like the games that I'm playing are just regular games. That they're not like, they haven't got all the haptic stuff and everything. I like the feel of it in my hand. It's got a nice. It's got a nice feel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hopefully I'll be joining you soon. I mean, I could talk about it now if you want. The stock tracking community when it comes to the PS5 are quite vile.
Oh, really? Really?
Oh, they're horrendous. They're horrendous people. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess it's that mixture of frustration and whatever, but let me try and read a few. Like, there are tracking websites that are just chucking dates out there because they know it gets some attention. And then people really angry with those tracking websites. There's people going into those, those chats, those live chats you get in Argos or whatever. and then they've confirmed that it's being restocked the 13th. I've seen so many different dates put down there, and they've come and gone and not been true. Yet people are still pinning all their hopes in it. Second shipments. Oh, come on! Where was there was a stream of tweets to the. It's like a Ask PlayStation account. Let me have a look. Tracker stores. I can't find it now. That's really disappointing. But I had a few of them up before recording, and it was just like, this is the PlayStation shit. I'm going to Xbox. What's the point in launching a console if you're not going to sell it? Oh, the Americans get it. What do you like them? One of them said, "Why are you fucking Europe while running your hands through American hair?" What? I don't know. It made me laugh though. Yeah. So it's getting quite fierce out there. Sean, I mean, you've definitely made the right decision of just taking the back seat and letting people fight it out.
I can't wait to maybe get one in about a year and just walk into Asda.
Oh, wouldn't it be amazing? What I really hope is that the next PlayStation that comes out, or if there's a revision next year, and it's the smallest console ever released. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like it's the shape of a GameCube but half the height. And everyone with those big massive ones that bought it in the first year looking at it just going, "Oh, for fuck's
You know that's definitely going to happen as well. There'll be one that looks good and it's completely silent and and he's tiny and yeah.
All right, okay. We've spoken too much. We haven't even done the feedback. Sean,
what's the point? Hello.
What do people think of the show last week?
I mean, if you want to send us feedback, go to... Hang on, he's not put it on the doc.
He puts it at the end. He says it at the end.
It says it at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, come on.
Sorry,
come
Matt.
on. Look, I could have a go at you, but his first time he done this for a while.
.co/dear TCGS. TCGS Corrections has been in touch again. They say on last week's show, Dave said that as 2021 had already started badly, he wished there was a new Animal Crossing game. This is incorrect, as everyone on TCGS hates Animal Crossing New Horizons. They may dispute this, but if you listen to their shows from May 2020 onwards, you'll hear them constantly kicking the game to death.
It's just... No, come on. It's constructive criticism.
Exactly. It's true. I mean, it's true. What he's saying is true, or what they are saying is true. But when you listen back to our Game of the Year show and what we said about it there, I think that still rings true. And I must admit, 100%. Harry's been suddenly playing it again. Oh, yeah. So I think there's some sort of association there. What's that? Lockdown? Get Animal Crossing on. I was absolutely gutted to see that it deletes old bulletin posts though.
Oh, does
on your notice board? Yeah, Remember Churi is not on there anymore. Have you still got Cherry on your island, Sean?
I mean, I haven't checked, so I assume she's still there, yeah.
Oh, for those of you that have only just started listening to us recently, my son's favourite villager on his island during lockdown, global pandemic, was Cherry. Was it Cherry? The little dog. Yeah. And Sean stole Cherry from our island.
Not on purpose. I just happened to visit, and she likes the cut of my jib. It wasn't an intentional coup. It was just, yeah. But
the kicker was when we were doing the turnip game, and the turnip game. When we were riding that turnip tidal wave, we went over to Sean's island to sell some turnips, and Harry was watching me, and I went there, and Cherry was there, and I had no idea, and I just went, "Oh my god, it's Cherry!" And then I went to talk to Cherry, and she went, "Hi, Dave. Oh, hey, yeah, I remember you from Bayakowski. I'm here now." And I was like, "Sean, you motherfucker, what the fuck?" Absolutely shocking. But no, you're right, TCGS Corrections. We absolutely slated that game throughout last year. Sorry about that. Sorry about it. You sound like you took it personally. Next bit of feedback.
Vince Pies says a business offer for Mr. Farley. I listened attentively to last week's feedback with sweat cascading down my face as I feared somebody would snag the hottest talent on the TCGS crew. You see, my uncle recently told me about your podcast and mentioned that if I listened to your Game of the Year episode, I would find the solution to my recent business crisis. He was not wrong. That solution was the angelic voice singing about the joys of eating hot mince pies. You're just the person to save my company, Mr. Farley. I run a mince pie warehouse and we're trying to unload the overflow from Christmas. Our marketing team has struggled to meet the challenge, and there, mere seconds into the episode, you've solved it. Half as many hot mince pies are only half as nicey indeed, Mr. Farley. That is the perfect endorsement for amassing mince pies after Christmas. If only we can get you into the studio for a sesh and lay that tune out on wax with the same conviction that wooed your listeners, the company will be saved and we'll have a bona fide new Christmas hit to boot.
We totally forgot to talk about this last week, didn't we? James's mince pie song at the start of the year.
I'm sure we talked about it. I'm sure we talked about
it. Oh, we didn't, boy. No. So, where did that song come from?
That came from year 7, choir practice. There you go.
Right, okay. This is what annoys me, because after we recorded, I googled the lyrics to see if it was recorded anywhere. Was
it not?
It doesn't exist. Nope, couldn't find it anywhere. Could not find it on Google. It was a Google whack.
It's an original. It's an original James Farley composition.
It was not. It was
James went when we said in the WhatsApp group, where did that song come from, James? And it took me a week and a half to pluck up the courage to ask. I asked him, where did it come from? And you went, it was a school song, innit? And I just thought, well, I mean, we went to very different schools, didn't we? We all know that. We've all spoken about the sort of schools you went to.
I went to a regular school, David.
Yeah, I went to a regular private.
It was not a private school.
I went to a regular school. Yeah, sure. We had iPads before they existed. James, come on. There's no public school singing "Bring on, some more mince pies."
Well, there
All
was.
We had
it was
Jesus.
Seriously. And I don't remember. I don't. I mean, maybe I dreamt it. I don't know. But it was definitely from school. It was from school.
All we had was Jesus rode a donkey into town, and then they had to stop that because we sang Jesus rode a Skoda into town. It only went 5 miles before it broke down. That was the one that we sung at school. And then the teacher just got all angry. Why would you get angry? I've never understood that.
It's a strange thing to get upset about, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got a Skoda.
It's probably the accumulation of things, and that was just the final straw.
Yeah, maybe.
That's just the perception of that motor vehicle from the 70s. Stop bringing it into the 90s.
They use them in rallies now. They're good. What I love about... So this is the second business offer that Farley's had. Obviously, there was the whole parkour business. And what I love about that is that whenever one of us has a proper clear out of the TCGS inbox, obviously we go through it and we get rid of press releases and stuff. And, sort of either emails where we've requested codes or there's someone a PR person we need to get back to. But every time it gets cleared out, there'll be maybe 6 or 7 emails remaining. And at the bottom, it's always East Kent Parkour. Just sitting there. One day. One fucking day we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. If anyone else has got any business opportunities for James Farley, legitimate business opportunities that you want him to do, maybe he can record something for your podcast. Maybe he can appear on your Twitch channel. Anything, then please contact us. And
celebrity guest appearances.
Maybe it could be
they can speak to my agent.
Who is
Matt.
your agent?
Who's your agent?
It's Matt.
Is it Matt? Yeah.
Maybe we could do like a Dragon's Den thing with him, where someone comes in and pitches an idea for their business. I want one James Farley for 20% of my business, please. Maybe we could do that. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Let's move on to the next bit of feedback.
Lord Justice has returned.
Oh no.
Thank you for your response regarding voter fraud. Your choice of simile was somewhat telling, comparing the argument to a heckler at a comedy performance. You have, maybe purposefully, chosen an example in which there is only one accepted or permissible voice in the room, that of the comedian. A heckler, an uninvited voice, would obviously be shut down. You don't have to represent the desires of loudmouth turning up on a whim and screaming thoughts about their favourite game at you. To fix your example, it would be like the comedian asking the audience, which of these 4 jokes is your favourite? I'm inviting you to openly vote on your preference, but I'm directly instructing you to only vote for joke B, because this isn't really an open vote about your views at all. I just want joke B to win, regardless of your opinion, which I know is what I asked for, but you guys really don't matter. I'm the voice here.
To be fair, if a comedian said that on stage, that would be funnier than if he asked you to vote on what was his favourite joke. That would be a funnier act than if it just say, here are 4 jokes, vote on the best one. So, I mean, come on, Lord Justice. Also, Lord Justice, before you go on, Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff still ain't out. You still backing that? You still backing that? Yeah. God.
In fact, I don't need a strained analogy. The situation was blatant enough. The public was asked for their view on what was the better game, all in capitals, out of 4 choices, but then 75% of the poll runners directly instructed that only a specific one of the 4 offered games was to be chosen. That's tampering with the outcome, which was specifically forbidden. Well, for the lowly peasants. Right, the thing is...
I'll be honest with you, Sean. Yeah. I'm starting to like Lord Justice now. Legitimately. I'm starting to come around to Lord Justice.
No, right.
Really,
because it's not about the comedian being the only, viable voice in the room. It's the difference between the comedian going to the audience and asking for things and willingly working with them in a semi-constructed way, and the audience just shouting shit out. That's the difference.
Okay. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm on Lord Justice side. I like him.
Okay, fine. Cool. You'll love this next one, Dave. Former TCGS fan has written in.
Go on.
They say, regarding your 2021 predictions, the games created by Shigeru Miyamoto have given me more joy than I can possibly describe. Add to this that when I met him, he was thoroughly pleasant and friendly. I don't know why Dave felt the need to say what he did last week, and I know that your show's main focus these days is, quote-unquote, hilarious banter, but why can't you just make a video games podcast without being fucking dickheads?
Well, look,
that is a good question.
former TCGS fan. I find it very hard not to be a fucking dickhead. I think that if you know the show...
Constant effort.
Yeah. It takes work. It takes work, Sean. If you've heard the show, then you know that my personality can be fully described as fucking dickhead. So I think, that is kind of who I am. So I can't change that. Plus, on a fundamental level.
Didn't we all express our mild disgust at what David said and then just moved
Myself included. And also, I will say, I don't know why David felt the need to say what he did. I didn't. I was saying I didn't want to say it. I repeatedly say I didn't want to say it, and they forced it out of me. And I just thought, and to make it clear,
hang on, wait a minute. It was not forced out of you. You volunteered the information.
Yes, it was. No, I said I didn't want to say it, and you went, "Go on, you got to say it, you got to say it, you got to say it." And you know what I'm like with peer pressure. I fucking love peer pressure. I love it. Peer pressure's my thing, man. It's what gets me going. So that's why I just dropped that. I've run out of ideas, and also I love Shigeru Miyamoto. And if we want to get serious for a moment, no jokes. There's not many celebrity. Like, I've not had that celebrity death in my life that would affect me, like, personally. I've not had that. And when I think about the number of people that actually could potentially do that to me, there's maybe 2, and Miyamoto is one of them. I'm going to be fucking devastated when he goes. But listen, it's a fact of life. It's going to happen at some point. We're going to have to deal with it, and it's going to be horrible. And there's going to be a lot of cartoons drawn that are going to irritate the fuck out of me, Sean. I'll tell you that. I'm going to have to come off Twitter for a bit, I think. I can't deal with that shit.
Yeah, the Iwata stuff was a lot.
That really dumb one up.
The one about oh, I hope he knows in heaven how good the Switch is doing. Right,
okay, listen. Look, everyone's got their own way of dealing with this stuff, and respect to you. If that's what gets you through it, totally fine. But I cannot deal with that shit at all. So I think maybe I just delete Twitter for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry if you're offended. I didn't mean any ill will or I don't dislike Miyamoto in any way.
Were you just about to say I don't wish any ill will towards Miyamoto? Because that's just the weirdest thing to say, Dave.
Why is that?
It just is.
That's like a perfectly normal thing to say. You don't wish any ill will to someone.
Of course you don't. Like it's
no,
just
not
odd that you have to clarify it.
Not according to the former CGS fan.
Look, all Dave's saying is he doesn't want Miyamoto to die. It's just that if he does, Dave would like to earn 1 point from.
Well, if my other predictions are taken, yes, I might as well get a point out of it. Because I'll probably go, that's really sad, and then just go, yeah, yes, but I'm absolutely gutted. So yeah, please don't.
Should we move on? This is a good one. Brad Turk says, Happy New Year. On episode 233, James attempted to excuse his drunken state during the Game of the Year show by saying, quote, my games got drawn out at the wrong time. I was hoping they'd get drawn out earlier. They were drawn out late into the game. I decided to re-listen to the Game of the Year show and jot down when each host's games were pulled.
Oh, fantastic.
So that I could do what Dave does.
So that I could determine if his games were actually drawn out late in the show. The results will probably not surprise you.
Can I just stop you there? Can I just...
Go on.
James just went, oh no, he's done what Dave does. What, call you out on your bullshit with facts.
Research.
Go on.
James's games were drawn 1st, 4th, 12th and 13th. With a total of 16 games on the list, an average of those numbers smaller than 8 would mean that the host games were called earlier than average, and a number higher than 8 means that more of their games were called later. Matt, 6.67, earliest. James, 7.5, earlier than average.
See, still earlier.
Dave, 9, Sean, 10. So we can obviously see that James's games were actually drawn out earlier in the game, not later. Additionally, I'd like to point out that the argument, quote, I was hoping I wouldn't have to argue for my games later in the show, falls apart when you realise that the second, third and final rounds of the debate all take place later in the show.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
He's done me there. He's done me there.
Yeah.
Mate, Brad, thanks for that email. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's about as good as it gets. Thank you.
Right, last bit of feedback is from Liz Walker. She says, just to add my comments to the general cyberpunk debate, as someone who is in theory playing on the, quote, worst version, i.e. a base PS4, I'm honestly surprised by the backlash surrounding the state of the game. Yes, I've definitely had a few bugs and crashes, but nothing worse than I've experienced in the average Bethesda game. I played Fallout New Vegas at release, and in my view that was in way worse shape, and yet now that is regarded as a cult classic. I'm certainly surprised that it's been pulled from the PlayStation Store as unplayable, as I don't feel that's the case at all. What I am more angry at CD Projekt Red for is the fact they didn't show footage from the console versions compared to PC. This denied me the choice of picking a different platform to buy the game on. I have a fairly good PC, which could have handled Cyberpunk easily, but I wanted to sit on my sofa and experience the world on a big HD telly rather than at my desk with a much smaller PC monitor. Had I known that the fidelity was such a big difference, however, I most certainly would have purchased the PC version. Yeah, that's valid. I'm surprised. I'm glad she's getting on with the base PS4 version. I mean, the footage I've seen's pretty horrific, I thought. But
yeah, I mean, it looked absolutely shocking, but I don't know. Maybe everyone's got different thresholds for that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. And
it doesn't help that the
you,
whole media have been going, look how bad it is! Because you got that in your back of your mind while you're playing it. Like, if I went into it not knowing all that stuff, would I have picked up as much as I did in that opening hour?
Well, this was
Probably.
it. And you know, I was saying last week that, like, for the first couple of weeks playing it every session, I was fucking around with the settings every time. And it's not that at any point it looked bad. It was just... It was that pressure of like, no, this is the new game that's supposed to look amazing. Therefore, I need to tweak every bit of, you know, every shiny reflective puddle out of it as I can. Like, and it's bollocks. Like, you just, like if it was a console version, I would hope I would just be like, well, this is just how it looks. I'll just crack on. But
can I add an interesting fact?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. James with the facts for a change.
Right, currently,
in James.
Currently, Cyberpunk 2077 has a lower Metacritic score on Xbox One than Anthem.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, but
and
controversial proof.
When you say a lower Metacritic score,
yeah,
is that professional reviews or is that user reviews?
That's professional reviews.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay,
I will say, like, it's going to be interesting. Like, I am still chipping away at it, but I'm not even, like, you know, obviously we talked about it last week and it went on for a while. I've still got loads more stuff to say about it, but it just feels like there's no point me just rattling on about it until the rest of you have had a proper go on it, which could be 5-6 months from now, who knows. So yeah, like, because I know people are going to ask, I am still chipping away at it. I just don't feel like there's much point discussing it yet until you've all had a go, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I just want some news now. Like, we're in January. The first big patch was supposed to have come out. We don't know when that's dropping.
Did they give a date, or was it just January?
Nope. There was one in January, one in February. That's it.
Well, there's a fair bit of January left.
There is. But I'm impatient, Sean. I am impatient.
The last thing we want them to do is rush it at this point, right?
Good point. Right, okay. Any more feedback, Sean?
Nope, that's a lot.
All right, before we move on to the news, I'd like to thank everyone that contacted the show to give me fish advice. You'll be happy to know that the fish are alive and well. They're well happy.
I mean, apart from the ones that died.
Well, no, but they were dead last week, so it don't matter.
Okay.
We were planning to go and get a load more, but obviously that hasn't happened due to the current situation. So they're going to be a little bit lonely, but they'll be all right. They'll be Harry hasn't looked at them for over a week now, but I have. I've been fully. But yeah, no. Apparently, I was cleaning out the tank wrong. I will address that, and so everyone that was worried about my fish, don't worry, they're alive and well, and I will do it properly next time. Thanks. Should we get on to the news?
Let's. Yeah. There's what I didn't know if you were going to add something more to that or not, and you didn't.
James was hoping that by staying quiet, we might just go. Actually, let's leave it. Yeah, let's call it an episode.
What did you think? What did you think? I was going to add to. Shall we get on to the news? What was the next bit that I was going to add?
I thought you were going to say James or something. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. Like normally you'd like hand over or something, like you'd say, and here we got James with the news, like they do on TV.
Okay.
But you didn't
James,
do that.
You brought like they do on the TV.
I was going to say, yeah. Were you brought up in Victorian times where you could only speak when addressed specifically?
I do. I mean, I found that it's quite a good thing to live by, actually, that. It's,
okay, all right, okay. And now it's time for the news with Dr. James Farley.
Thank you, David. It has been a week of news. There's things have happened. It's annoying because at the beginning, this morning when I was putting when I was putting this together this morning, I was getting quite excited because I looked at it and I thought there's only about 2 stories here that are of any interest at all.
Well, that made me laugh because in the Discord you were like, "Oh, the news is looking good this week," and I thought, I don't think anyone else knows what he means by that. It means fuck all happened.
And I thought it looks pretty good. There's a minimum number of things that have happened this week, and then of course, before we're going to record,
why are you leaving the show? Why haven't you left the show?
What do you mean?
The one thing you've got to do for the show, and all you do is moan about, and you get happy when there's not as much to do.
No,
why
you
don't
just
leave the
You
show?
don't understand. What I like there to be a small number of high quality stories, and the trouble is when you're scraping the barrel, as we have been over the last couple of weeks, it's more difficult to get in because then you put the stories I have to choose are the usual nonsense that Matt comes up with that are just press releases or whatever, terrible news that are we have to include that because there's literally nothing else, and it's just less fun, you know. So
2 questions for you, James. When was the last time it was a good news week in your eyes?
Last week.
Before Christmas, there were some pretty good stories, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. When was the last time it was a really bad news week in your eyes?
Last week was not a great week for stories.
You only had 2 stories.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Loved it.
It was. I know, but that's the thing. It was a bad week because there wasn't much of interest to really go into, in a good way. Because this is genuinely part of the show that I look forward to. I like this part of the show, but.
Do you?
I like it. No, I like it to be backed. No, I like it to be backed by quality news, and unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of quality news.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
I think if you got every single person in a line in the world, every single person in a line, right, and you rank them from the most normal news person to the strangest news person, I reckon James would be right at the back, right there. I just want this specific type of news, and if not, I get really pissed off with it. But I love the news. It's the weirdest.
It's not. It's like on TV when you got a news presenter who's like, "Oh, it's another royal baby." It's like, who cares? You know, it's just. But you've still got to report on it. It's annoying. You know, you'd rather be talking about something interesting. You know, and it's like, but
I've never liked that attitude. I've never liked that attitude. I don't care whether you don't like the news or not. Read it out and go home. If I turned up to my job and went, I don't want to do this, I get the sack.
I mean, you've got to have some passion. You've got to have some passion about it. You know, you've got to find something which is, look, can we just
when
do,
have
can,
you
can we just
ever
do
had passion about the news?
James...
When has he ever had passion about the news? When has that ever happened?
Well, James
loves the news. He just loves it enough to want it to be better.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know,
Don't help him out, sure.
I want it to be good, and it's like it's often not.
And it's not.
All right, okay.
Anyway, Nintendo have dominated the top 10 because of lockdown, especially in the UK. It seems that game sales have been massively boosted. So there's like a third more games have been sold at the start of this year compared to last year, which is obviously big. And Switch has been the main beneficiary. So Switch sales are up like 123% on last year.
Wow.
So that's pretty good for
Does
them,
that
I guess.
include like Christmas, or is this just January?
I think this is just January. Like it's just the first couple of weeks of January, which is
it's
Okay,
just
think.
January.
Okay, right. Here's some questions for you. Is it retail and digital, or just digital, or what's the
this
deal?
is just boxed copies. Yeah, this is not
Just boxed copies.
Can't download a console, Dave.
Yeah.
Whoa. No, he's talking about games, though, right?
Yeah,
Didn't you mention console?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's talking about games, right? So
I thought you
you're
mentioned
saying
consoles as well.
that boxed copies of their games have sold over 100% more than they did this time last year when all the shops are open.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And
okay,
in fact,
what
actually,
what
it
regions?
is just from last week. This is not. This is
Okay,
not
so
from.
it's definitely right.
Yeah, it's not
Jesus.
from Christmas at all. So they've done very well.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
region?
Well, just UK.
yeah. Oh, come on.
Just the
He's
UK.
He's found some of the details we've asked for. Let's not keep.
Yeah.
No, that is mad, though.
That
We're
is,
saying Nintendo have over doubled their sales of boxed copies.
Yes.
Now, coronavirus wasn't a thing back this time last year in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now all the shops are closed. That's incredible if that's true.
I suppose one major thing is Ring Fit Adventure wasn't out this time last year, was it?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It's January, and we've all put on weight. So that's a fact.
that
And
been
obviously,
selling
no
again?
one can go
And
to
it
the
is-
gym. So
And also, Ring Fit Adventure is at number 6, and its sales are up 24%. So
Okay.
What's number one then?
number 1 is Animal Crossing.
of course.
Wow, that is still going, isn't it? Man.
Although the sales
and
of that have dropped
people know now
47%.
that it's shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
keep telling them.
we've been telling people for the past year.
So, if you want to know the total number, it's 260,000 boxed games were sold in the UK last week.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Is that good? I've got no reference point for that.
it's
but it must be good, right?
123% more than before. So
Yeah, okay.
for
You do
Switch
the
games
maths.
anyway.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. So anyway, Animal Crossing's done very well. Then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and has also done well, but also Just Dance 2021, which apparently 90% of the game's physical sales have been on the Switch. So that's obviously why they.
Well,
keep
yeah, that
coming
makes
out.
sense, right? Because it feels like you need that Joy-Con to play it, doesn't it? Even though you don't.
Yeah.
No one wants to be. But Harry's been playing Just Dance recently. He's been banging to that. So maybe there's something about kids wanting to dance. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But yeah, he's just
And
dancing.
it makes you wonder what the digital sales are like as well.
I'd love
given
to
that
know
most-
what the uptick is in their subscription service.
Should we have a quick? I'm just going to have a quick look on the eShop charts. I'm curious. Carry on. This will take me a minute to load it
Yeah.
up.
So out of the top 40, 15 games are Switch exclusives. So that's
Jesus.
they're doing pretty well. I mean, it's like Ring Fit Adventures, Mario Brothers U Deluxe obviously has done very well. So yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Fucking good console.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
console.
you can tell Isaac's been using this for Mario Kart Live. He's fucking gobbed all over the screen.
Oh, I hate that. The crust
the
on the
worst.
screen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it's madness. And of course you got one of the best Mario games coming out for it. What is it, next month? Next month.
No, it's this month.
Yeah, no, February 20th, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was coming out at the end of this month.
No, it's definitely February. I think it's the end of next month.
God, I tell you
But-
what, looking at these charts, it's the fucking Wii all over again. So, I mean, Animal Crossing's at number 3 in the eShop charts. Number 2 is Mario Kart 8, fair enough. Number 1 is Among Us, which, I suppose we could have predicted that. But number 5, you've got fucking Carnival Games.
Oh.
Number 6 is bloody, what was it, 51 Worldwide Games, which I think we
Oh,
all
yeah, we've been
basically
playing a lot of that.
decided. Oh, have you?
Yeah, I mentioned last week we've been playing a lot of that over Christmas.
Oh, fair
Yes,
enough.
it is rubbish, but it is, we've just been playing it. I don't know, it's the bowling thing and, all that sort of stuff.
Well, funnily enough, number 9 in the charts, bowling, which just appears to be
Classic.
a naff third-party one. And then you got shit
naff.
like, I mean, Zelda's at number 10, but then like Monopoly's at 11. Monopoly's a shit board game.
Oh,
It's
shut
also
up,
not
you're
a
one
very
of
good
those people.
version either.
Is
It's,
it not?
Is it?
No.
Oh, yeah, you reviewed it, didn't you?
I did review it, yeah.
Did you?
A long
When
time
is
ago.
that? Sorry.
Yeah,
So
it's
Mario
just...
3D World Deluxe comes out February 12th, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, so
it's just interesting. Obviously, that you've got your usuals, like obviously Minecraft's in there and stuff, but Mario Odyssey's at 7. But it's just interesting that obviously that sort of families have just got a Switch for Christmas effect is there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, especially because it was so hard to get hold of any of the next gen consoles over Christmas. The chances are it was, well, I'll get a Switch then.
Yep.
Harry asked for a Switch Lite, and I was like, no. There's literally no
James
need.
Farley. Fucking made him money.
Yeah.
But again, it's the thing. Like, so my sister-in-law texted me before Christmas, like, I was thinking of getting, so they've got a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and she was like, I was thinking of getting either a PS4 or a Switch for the boys. And I was like, mate, Switch.
Yeah,
all day long. Switch and Mario Kart. See you in 6 months. Like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, the Switch is the way to go, isn't it? Okay, cool.
Okay, so next, Nintendo are also buying Next Level Games, who made Luigi's Mansion 3.
PS4, Sean.
Yeah,
a PS4.
Yeah, I thought that, which was another reason to be like, no, definitely the Switch.
Yeah, but... I mean, I know there's the price thing, right? Which I get.
Yeah.
Everyone's on a budget, but like, it's not that. But just imagine a kid opening up the last like, it's not even the current one on Christmas.
I mean, he's
morning.
only 5. I don't think he gives a shit.
I guarantee he does. Harry would have booted out of the window.
Would he?
Actually, he's 7.
I want the
next
one
month.
with the one that looks like I'll fucking cut my face if I go near it.
Fucking hell, Harry's 7 next month. Ugh, that is weird. All right, go on. Sorry, James.
So anyway, Nintendo is buying Next Level Games, who made Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah, so that's happening.
Next Level Games prove that they can create an incredible game. Luigi's Mansion 3 is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was surprised they weren't owned by Nintendo already.
I was going to say, I obviously wasn't paying much attention, but yeah, from what I've played of Luigi's Mansion 3, I assumed it was in-house. I didn't even know it was...
it certainly felt like that.
Yeah.
That's a great acquisition. Yeah, get them making more games, because if they can deliver to the quality of Luigi's Mansion 3, then we've got nothing to worry about. That was a wonderful game.
And in fact, Nintendo have said that this will close by the 1st of March, and they said that it will deliver an anticipated improvement in development speed and quality. So, yeah, good.
Well, let's see what they're working on. What do you reckon they're going to work on?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm worried about, because I was having a look at their list of games they have made, that have been Nintendo ones. Well, it's like Mario Strikers. They made all of those, all of those games. They did
but they're money spinners.
Well, they did this Punch-Out games, which were pretty good, actually.
That got highly reviewed, They did quite well. Yeah.
But they also did Metroid Prime Federation Force, which I felt that was another game I reviewed, actually, a long time ago, which is not as bad as people thought it was going to be. It was not bad at all.
Okay.
It should have just never been called a Metroid game, should it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It put too much pressure on the thing, but it's generally fine. Okay, next story is that Netflix are ending Wii U and 3DS support on June 30th. And it's already been removed from the eShop from the 31st of December. But you can still re-download it, but you won't be able to support it. But I mean, this is weird. I didn't even know there was a 3DS version of like Netflix.
yeah, imagine watching it on that. I wonder if the 3D stuff works with it. Has it got 3D Netflix? Probably hasn't.
No, I don't think it has, no.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's about 8 people out there furious about this, but come on.
I suppose like there might be people with with kids, and they've got old consoles and not necessarily a spare tablet to give to their kids, and maybe this is a good way of keeping them entertained sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you could get a telly for about 80 quid with Netflix on it now, right?
Probably, or a very cheap tablet, but
you could definitely get like really cheap Android tablets that would do that. And
but
then also, I mean, it's weird. It is weird though, isn't it, that the Switch still hasn't got any of these things. I mean, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, but it's still odd, that we've never seen a Netflix app or anything like that on there. Because Netflix is on everything.
What was I listening to when they were talking about Disney? It was Backpage Pod, wasn't it? This is terrible. Sam Roberts put a prediction out. They were doing a prediction show. And he put a prediction out that something big was going to happen with Nintendo and Disney. Some sort of, but in my head just then, as I was thinking about it, was, have you heard the rumours, guys? That's how it starts, isn't it? That's how it starts. So I'm not going to feel that fire, but that would be pretty cool. Get Disney Plus on the Switch. I mean, that would make no difference for them. But it's true. Who cares? I mean, kids care. Kids care, right?
Do they?
I don't know. Should we get a kid? And
does anyone know a kid? I'll go. Hang on. I'll go get Isaac up. He won't mind.
I could go and ask Rachel.
I'm not waking up the children.
But I don't know if she's...
go on then.
Shall I go and get her and see if she...
Yeah, go and see if she's... Yeah, absolutely.
Do you genuinely want to go and get her? Because I can go and get her now.
Yeah, don't tell her what it's about. Put her headphones on. I'll talk to her.
All right, hang on. I'll just go and get her.
Let me talk to her. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'll probably edit this out.
I've got a feeling that James is like, even if she's asleep, he's like rocking her back and forth. Just get up quick, you're required.
You've got to entertain the nation. Come on.
This is my big moment.
Right,
I've already forgotten what it is you're even asking her.
Okay, and you just need to say hello and then talk to them. Okay. So just put that.
Leave this in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Sit down. Sit down. Right, and just okay, come on, just talk.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi, Rachel. I'm David. You know me.
Hi.
Do you know me? Do you remember me? You met me once. We went for a Nando's.
I think, yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, nice one. This is my friend Sean. Say hi, Sean.
Hello.
Hi, Sean.
We've got a question for you. Now, you love playing on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
If they announce that Disney Plus or Netflix was coming to the Nintendo Switch, would you be happy about that or would you not be bothered?
I'd be quite happy about that, I think.
There we go. Thank you. That's all we needed from you. Thank you so much for your honest opinion.
Why?
I get more screen time that way. I can watch more TV.
Yeah, Rachel, don't listen to your dad, right? Because he's just upset because you've proved him wrong and you've proved me right. And that really upsets your dad, that. So you've done a really good job today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much appreciated.
No problem.
You should go to bed now.
Bye.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Did you hear James in the background? Did you hear James in the background? Would you like that? Yes. Why? That was the instant reaction. Thanks for that, James. That was the voice of all children there.
Yeah.
Confirming
Does she know she just
right.
represented every child on Earth?
I don't think so. She should be in bed though. She should be in bed. And,
but it's a good thing she wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I totally missed a trick. I shouldn't have asked that question, should I, Sean? I should have gone, give us an embarrassing story about your dad. Yeah.
Do you know, actually, as soon as you started talking to her, I was like, I need to put the headphone in as well so I can know what's going on here.
I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, but that's what I should have done. Absolutely gutted. All right, let's get on to the next news story.
Okay, so Minecraft Earth is shutting down.
This was a
Minecraft
surprise.
Earth? What is it?
Do you know what it is?
No, go on. You tell me, Sean, because James will sort of miss things out and then get angry at me because I don't understand.
It's basically Minecraft meets Pokemon Go, right? So it's a version of Minecraft that you have on your phone, and you walk around in the real world, and there are spots where I think you tap on a thing and it gives you some blocks. But the cool thing was, like you could build stuff in augmented reality. And it was all sort of, I believe, it was all sort of one-to-one with the real world, right? So,
yeah, that's what I thought it would be, right?
Yeah.
So you walk around and see people's creations and stuff.
Yeah,
that would be great.
So if you've built, theoretically, you could go to a tourist spot or whatever and build something cool around like a famous, tourist attraction or whatever, and other people would come along and see you doing it.
But I bet it's a fucking mess. You load it up, you look at it, it's just like green blocks everywhere. You just think, what the fuck?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tried this and it seemed really cool, but obviously this was it last summer it came out, and I was well into Pokemon Go at the time because it was, a really good way of making sure I got out of the house most days at the time. And I was just like, I haven't got room for another one of these. So I just never really persevered. And now it's strange to me that they're just killing it entirely because they're blaming the pandemic, right?
Here's the quote. It said, Minecraft Earth was designed around free movement and collaborative play, two things that have become near impossible in the current global situation. As a result, we have made the difficult decision to reallocate our resources to other areas that provide value to the Minecraft community and to end support for Minecraft Earth in June 2021.
See, that just seems
I mean,
strange
I hadn't
because,
even heard of it, so...
I don't know. Sorry, that was a really weird noise my throat just made. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. But I can't wait to listen to the playback.
Oh my god! Maybe it won't pick it up the set. God, that was really. It felt strange in the back of my throat. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon Go has survived, still going. They just, it adapted. They sort of redesigned things and it carried on working. Also, Minecraft has a lot of money, so. It seems odd that they were just the fingers crossed the pandemic will at some point go away, or at least be less of a worry. So it just seems odd that for all the money.
Do you know what that says to me though, Sean?
Go on.
They looked at the user base and went, "It's not worth it."
Well, yeah, they must have. I mean, yeah,
that must be it.
It can't just be the pandemic's fault, can it? Because the pandemic is not is not going to be forever. We hope. And for the money they've already sunk into it, you would think it'd be like, well, let's just basically keep it going with the skeleton staff for another 6 months and then relaunch it with a bang when everyone's allowed outside again. But the fact they're not even willing to do that suggests to me that actually they just didn't have that much faith in it anyway. What was it, about 6-7 months ago? Oh no, right. November 2019 it launched in America.
Came out a while ago.
Yeah. I think it was later here, but...
Yeah, it is a little bit strange, isn't it, then? They didn't have a proper run...
Yeah.
When people were allowed outside of their houses.
Yeah,
so,
you'd think they would just sit on it for the time being and then... But yeah,
so
which maybe suggests they just didn't really like it for other reasons, who knows?
Well, either way, they've put out the final update, which adds a bit of new content, but then removes any of the real money transactions and all that kind of stuff. And anybody who's bought stuff, they will get a free token to download the Bedrock edition of Minecraft on a mobile device. And
you see, ironically, the fact they've taken out all the paid stuff makes me sort of want to try it again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, well.
Shame. Cool idea.
Next story is that a company that is called SUP3R5 have cancelled their all custom black PS5 sales because they've received threats. So what this is this company was selling custom skins for PS5s, but they've now deleted their Twitter account and have cancelled the 300 plus orders they received. This is because they said they received what they call credible threats to staff safety, because apparently there was a rush to order the skins, and so many of them failed or were incomplete, and that annoyed people. And the company said, we take these threats seriously, and as a result, we're not proceeding forward. All orders are being cancelled with full refunds. We intended this to be a fun way to celebrate a shared nostalgia. As it turns out, there are people out there who are willing to interfere with that. If we determine that it's safe to try again, we will. For now, please stay safe. Because these skins were PS2 themed, I think, was the idea.
Okay. You not read the story. No. Because they weren't selling skins. And look, what I'm about to say does not justify death threats at all. This is not, what was going on. You don't send death threats. How many times have we said that on this podcast? But the reason why people were angry with this company is that apparently they had 600 PS5s, and they were selling the PS5s at a massive markup. So they were selling them at $650 and $750.
See,
so
the Eurogamer article does not mention that in any
second
anywhere.
paragraph.
Does it?
Yeah, just open it up. Via a statement on its now deleted Twitter account, company SUP3R5, which is not an affiliate with Sony, tweeted yesterday that its team began receiving credible death threats to their safety and consequently cancelled all orders of its 300 plus units, which reportedly sold out in second despite the $650 and $750 price tags for discless and disc versions, respectively.
There
second paragraph. Second paragraph.
But no, it doesn't say. Okay, whatever.
I would like to credit Vicky Blake for writing that on Eurogamer as well, which
journalist.
I think you should start doing when you're not when you're just ripping off other websites.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not using Eurogamer so much now. It's gamesindustry.biz. That's where I get most of my stuff.
So, as I
He's
said
grown up.
at the start of the show, I've been deeply entrenched in the drama of the stock tracking community. And one of the things you regularly get is just an outburst of hatred for scalpers. Like a real vile, like nasty post about scalpers. And I don't like scalpers either, right? But these people go overboard. And I assume they saw a company selling marked up PS5s that are just a different colour. Like it's just a skin added to it. You know, they've managed to get 600 units somehow. That was the rumour anyway. And people were angry about that, and that's why they were angry at this company. But yeah, man, sending death threats to them is just ridiculous. I
mean, it's one way out of the problem of like are you familiar with? Yeah, we've talked about dbrand before, haven't we? They do like phone skins and various other things, and they just, I mean, they're very honest when they do like, you know, news posts and stuff. And they basically did one that was like, so the reason we're not, I'm pretty sure they were talking about PS5s, weren't they? Yeah, like the reason we're not doing PS5 skins is because we fucking seen you people try and apply skins to perfectly flat surfaces. There is no way you're going to be able to apply a PS5 one. So, you know, it is one solution to have a company that will put the skin on for you and send the entire console. But if they're putting a massive markup on it,
yeah, $250 markup is a piss take, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there you go, people do it. I mean, it happens with iPhones all the time. We've all seen the golden iPhones that companies sell, or the diamond encrusted iPhones for like 5-10 grand or whatever it is. It happens. So it was going to happen to the consoles eventually. But I have a feeling that those prices wouldn't be those prices if the consoles were readily available. I think they're taking advantage of that. But that does not defend, you know, sending death threats to a company like that. So it's pretty messed up.
Okay. So this is another story that I didn't want to talk about, but then it's like, okay,
it's your section.
I know, but it's like, I don't want to get into that again. It's ridiculous. Lucasfilm Games is like, they're doing a thing. I mean, it is rubbish, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, I was sent this link of like LucasArts doing some, like, you know,
that was directed at you, Sean. I was sent this link.
Well, no, it's rubbish though, isn't it? I mean, look at it. So it's a press release from like StarWars.com that says
I was going to say, since we're declaring our news sources now, let's StarWars.com.
It's StarWars.com. You know, it's the website. Yeah. And so the headline is Lucasfilm Games begins a new era. Now, I understand. Like, my interest was piqued when I saw that. I looked at it and I thought, that's exciting. Like, I loved Lucasfilm Games. I thought they were great. I played a lot of those when I was growing up. And then all it is, though, is it's basically just a rebranding exercise. Because they've got, like, what they call a sizzle reel. And it's just things like, it's just basically the games that have come out over the last, you know, couple of years, really.
Weird. It's a weird trailer, man. It's weird. I was like, oh my God, they're going to show off a bunch of new Star Wars games.
No. Yeah.
And they didn't show
not even any sort
new Star Wars game.
Like, if this was maybe the start of a move to, you know, bring Star Wars stuff back in-house and away from EA, I mean, who could blame them? But there's no indication of what any of this actually means, other than, as James says,
I do think that was the case, actually, Sean.
Yeah?
I do think that was the case. I don't think they're going to bring it back in-house. I think EA's logo and EA's association with Star Wars game is going to be pushed into the background. I still think they're going to own them, make them, publish them. Yeah. I think they're going to be branded as Lucasfilm Games, right, rather than EA games. I think that's the major thing they're going for. But it's just it was a weird trailer. It was like, here's a bunch of games that are already out.
Yeah.
Like, and they spent ages on Fallen Order. And I just thought that came out 2 years ago.
And The Sims, like, which is not... It's just odd. It's just, I mean, I think what it is loads of these companies, like Sony did the same thing, you know, where they did the like PlayStation Studios thing, and everyone is trying to ape that Marvel like opener, isn't they? Aren't they? Of like saying like, you know, this is like a Marvel Studios like, you know, film, whatever, and they all want to have that, and it seems that this is what Lucasfilm are up to now as well. It was
a weird trailer. I suggest you go and watch it because it's just bizarre. Like, it looks like it's supposed to be an announcement for about 12 Star Wars games, but they're already out.
Yeah,
like, one of them is the Old Republic.
I mean, it was funny because at the end I was expecting, like you said, like that there was going to be something, and I was like, "There's still 20 seconds to go. They could be just about to, like, you know, throw out a banger here, you know, something that's coming." But no, they just repeated the ones they'd already shown, like, but faster. It was very strange.
And it's also weird. I mean, this is probably a copyright or legal bullshit thing. Why is it Lucasfilm Games and not just LucasArts as it was back in the day? Because Lucasfilm Games is such a weird title. Like, if we got a film based on a Telltale Games game, would they start a brand called Telltale Games Films? Do you know what I mean?
This is what's weird, because it was Lucasfilm Games right at the beginning, like when they first kicked off making games, before it became LucasArts. Because I'm pretty sure like Loom and stuff like that was like Lucasfilm Games. But yeah, it is very odd. It's a very odd thing.
Sorry, this is a tangent, James, but have you ever seen the Double Fine Kickstarter documentary? Because the earliest episodes of that, like Tim Schafer talks a lot about like working at LucasArts in the early days and going out and like hanging out in the Skywalker Ranch and stuff. It's fascinating.
I've never seen that, but that would be really interesting.
Good.
There was so much good stuff that came out during that period, like so much good stuff, and it's just a shame that it's never really been. I mean, the last couple of like Star Wars releases have been pretty good. Like I've been reasonably happy with them, but I don't know. I don't know where they're going with all this stuff. I mean. I think they're. I mean, when does EA's license run out? It must be reasonably soon.
No, I do.
I bet they'll renew it.
But they'll redo it though.
Well, it's just so strange because it's not like obviously it was Disney that killed LucasArts games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was when Disney took over and they were right. Well, fuck that. Just let EA do it all. And maybe they're now seeing the error of their ways. I mean, I'd say that there are people who are perfectly happy with EA's Star Wars games, and some of them have been very good.
Yeah, but Disney do this all the time, though. Like they do this thing where they like start up saying we're going to get into games and we're going to start, and they start studios and stuff like that. Then it doesn't work after like 6 months or whatever. Then they just close them all down. It's
well,
very
I heard
strange.
they're linking up with Nintendo. I can't remember where, but I heard there's some sort of deal happening with Nintendo. So let's see what that happens. Let's see what that happens. Is what I just said. Should we move on to the last story of the week? Yeah.
So last story. It's a Google Stadia story. I mean, this was Matt's contribution.
Hold on. Google Stadia, let's have it.
It's not very exciting. I mean, basically, Google Stadia and GeForce Now are coming to LG TVs in 2021.
Okay, all right,
2021, that's the one, yeah. And so they're both coming to the LG TVs. What I did think was quite interesting from this Verge article was that it says that Google has also promised that Stadia will come to Google TV in the first half of 2021. I still think it's incredible. It's not on there.
It's not on Google TV. GeForce Now was a weird story, wasn't it? It got announced. Everyone went, "Wow, this is brilliant!" And then all the publishers went, "No, fuck you. You ain't having our games on there." Yeah. It just went away for a bit. I mean, I assume people are still using it. But yeah, that was a weird one.
But this will be the first place that GeForce Now will be like on a TV as well, because that's never happened before. It's all just been on like PCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be interesting to see if Google Stadia is exclusive to LG TVs or if they branch out or whatever. I'd be amazed if they don't. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm surprised there's not just is there an Android app for Android TVs for Google Stadia?
No idea.
Like, so I've got an Android TV.
Yeah, there must be a Stadia app for it, sure.
You reckon?
Well,
man,
Stadia?
I'm gonna have to...
There's no app for Stadia. Like, I'd be amazed if there is.
There must be, surely.
No, you can't, because you can only do it through a Chromecast.
No need to call him that.
Oh, maybe.
Is it really still only for a Chromecast?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, you could probably sideload it.
I'm sure.
You probably sideload it if you really wanted to, but I mean...
Who wants to?
Yeah. Who's got the time?
Play Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Cyberpunk on that TV. Right, is that it for the news?
That is it for the news. We're all done.
Let's get on to what you've been playing, and I'll start because I will be done in about 10 seconds. I've been playing Rocket League and Tetris 99. I think I went into this week thinking I was going to finish it with PS5 and I'd have loads to play. But seeing as they're still out of stock everywhere, I just sat and played Rocket League and Tetris 99 all week. It's been great.
Sent death threats to companies.
Rocket League, that was not me, and you can't prove that. Rocket League is just great. You don't need to hear me talk about it like that. The current theme, what they call it, a special event on Tetris 99 was fantastic. It was Kirby one.
Oh shit!
So just kind of that.
Kirby.
It's so good, Tetris 99, and I've got the knack of switching to the right tactics at the right time now. So that's really helping me out. You know how easy, how annoying it was that when you started, and you had 8 people attacking you on your own, and you'd think, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? Now I know how to deal with it, and I absolutely I take them out one by one. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. If you've not tried it, then it's probably the best Tetris game ever made. So yeah, sorry, not a lot of various gaming. I did finish Horace since
did you?
The last thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it overall.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it. And I plan to finish that Gears DLC that I spoke about last week. So hopefully I'll have some things to talk about next week. But yeah, unfortunately this week I've been a bit lazy. Sean?
So I've got loads of things that I've sort of dipped in and out of. I've been playing, well, obviously I'm still playing Sea of Thieves, but you don't need to hear about that. 3 weeks on the trot, whatever it's been.
No, we do not.
Still very good. Been playing Monster Train, which is on, it's on Game Pass. It's also on Switch and other things.
Oh, really? Is it new?
Yeah, well, new-ish. I think it maybe came out a few months ago. I remember we were getting press releases about it, and I wish I'd accepted code for it on the Switch because it would be ideal. It's another roguelike deck builder, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But first off, I really like the sort of the idea behind it. It's basically the setting is that hell has frozen over, right? Hell's been conquered by heaven, and you're this train that's got this last shard of hell in it, basically, and you're trying to send the train right to the fucking bottom of hell to reignite the whole thing and melt it again. So you're the baddies, you're the monsters, hence the name. It's just very good. It's just got that really cool thing that Slay the Spire had, where you are constantly, sort of every encounter, every, shop you go to, whatever, you're just constantly tweaking your deck and trying to find little synergies between your cards, things that will work well together, but to the point that you'll figure something out and be like, this is broken as fuck. But the game is expecting you to do that, and it's expecting you to find these things that feel obscenely powerful. But then as you get towards the end of the run, you're like, oh no, you need to have figured out these sort of seemingly broken things, and it's just incredibly good fun. I think runs are generally a bit shorter than they were in Slay the Spire, so I'm having a good time. I must have done 6 or 7 runs by this point, and I've got near the end. But every time I've just been really keen to go back in. It's not, like we've said, roguelikes, I often think they're best when they give you stuff that gives you a bit of a leg up the next time round. It doesn't give you stuff that makes the game easier, but you're constantly unlocking new cards, there's new factions to play as and stuff. So it just keeps it interesting without necessarily helping you, but there's just always new stuff to try. It's proper good, really enjoying it. The demo for Monster Hunter Rise is out after they did
I saw this.
presentation.
This was loads of people were talking about this. So
it's fucking crashed the eShop, which
wow,
which yeah, they had to pull it down for maintenance. Which it may have just been a coincidence, but yeah, everyone's.
Oh right, okay.
It was as the demo went live, it fucking killed the eShop for a few hours. Yeah, only spent a bit of time with it. Monster Hunter demos are always weird because obviously the game is huge and there's loads to learn, and the demos are always so stripped back.
How do they deal with it? Do they do the Crackdown thing where it sort of makes you level up really fast to just give you a taste of it?
Not even that. It's just you get 2 little training missions, and then you just get 2 hunts to pick from, and so you pick a mission, and then it's just just choose a pre-made character with a load of really high level gear and stuff. So your character might have abilities that aren't necessarily standard when you actually go to play the full game. It's the only way you could do it, right? Without
I was about to say at least it's not here's the first mission.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point?
Exactly. It gives you a bit of a flavour of what's to come. Yeah, I mean, the main thing I can talk about, because as I say, you're sort of limited in terms of what you can learn from a Monster Hunter demo. It's all about the fucking wire bug. I don't know if you remember the trailers. There's this little, so Monster Hunter World added this sort of wrist-mounted grapple hook. That's now a little insect that you throw out and you actually sort of whip around the place. But crucially, the difference is it doesn't have to latch onto anything, right? So you can just jump off a cliff and just throw the wire bug out, and it will just hang in the air, and then you can hang off it, and you can just be in midair, just sort of being sort of held up by this little insect in the sky. It's weird, but it's the way it's integrated with loads of your combos and stuff. So I mean, have either of you spent much time with Monster Hunter? I don't think you have.
Absolutely none. I was going to ask James actually. Have you played any Monster Hunter game?
Never played
Why?
it. Yeah. I don't know.
Why?
It just never. It's
it
never
seems
really appealed.
well up your street, James.
You do know why. There must be a reason. Because this
I think maybe because when it first came out on PSP, didn't it? And I never owned one of those.
That's right.
And it was one of those things where it's kind of like you look at a series and you just think, maybe I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to play that. And see, I never did.
I mean, it was famously impenetrable for years and years and years and years, and it was only when Monster Hunter World came out that really, certainly in the West, people really started to get it. But yeah, I mean, the wire bug, basically, just so many things that as a Monster Hunter player, you just sort of accept. If you get full on fucking smacked by the monster, right, it knocks you back, you land on the floor, you have to roll around a bit, wait for your character to get up. And it's annoying, and it's just a thing you have to learn to accept and manage and hopefully avoid. Whereas now it's you have this wire bug, and it's got 2 charges that refill over time, so you can't spam it. But if you get knocked back and you've got a wire bug charge, fucking left trigger and B, you're straight back in. You just whip it out, pulls you straight back towards the monster again, and it's huge. It's so effective at just closing distance and sort of helping you manage. The spacing between you and the monster, which is normally even just figuring out how to approach the monster can sometimes be a big deal, whereas now it's just whip straight towards it, and it feels amazing. It's proper good. So yeah, I'm very excited for that to come out. It seems to have taken a lot of the nice quality of life stuff from World as well. Previous to Monster Hunter World, the series had, for whatever reason, stuck with this thing of every map being split up into zones, and there would be a loading screen between them, even though it's just supposed to be this one, in the course of one hunt, you might move between sort of 5 or 6 different areas in this one map. And yeah, and they would be broken up by loading screens, and it was annoying as fuck. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't even a technical limitation for a long time, and they just stuck with it. And little things like grabbing, if you find a herb on the ground, you press A to pick it up, and your character would crouch down and do a little gathering animation and stand back up. Worlds just did away with that. You just swipe your hand and you pick the thing up. So that's in this one as well. So just loads of little things like that just take away the friction. Basically, I'm very excited for this to come out. Yes.
What's happened with Monster Hunter World? Are people still playing it? Because
oh god, yeah.
I heard it's been quite quiet recently.
Only
from sort of anecdotal stuff on Rollmark. I saw people complaining that it was the servers have been dead and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, I'm going back to World/Iceborne this week because I think I'm allowed to say I'm doing a cane and rinse on it on Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck? That's right. Okay, well, we weren't going to announce it on the show, but that's why Matt's not on the show this week. He's so disgusted at Sean that he's refused to be on the podcast with him. When we found out,
maybe Matt's doing a cane and rinse tonight. Maybe that's why
fuck off. James and David's computer game show. That's where this is going to be. Could you imagine that every week? I don't want to do this. Well, I mean, fuck, maybe we just forgive them.
But yeah, so basically, Monster Hunter World came out on PS4 and Xbox, and then they sort of released a slightly jazzed up version of Generations on the Switch, which was previously a 3DS game, and it was this is I did want Monster Hunter on the Switch, but this is now quite hard to sort of go back to after all the quality of life improvements we've seen in World, whereas this Rise now seems to be the sort of perfect marriage of the two. So, very excited. What else? Go on, sorry.
No, cool. I mean, I know a bunch of my friends that really got into Monster Hunter Worlds. They don't play
Matt
anymore.
Did for a bit, didn't he? And then John did as well, I think.
About a week, which is quite good for Matt, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I've got friends that have racked up hundreds of hours into that game, so I'm sure they will. I don't even know if they play. Is this just out on Switch?
So far, yeah. I mean, that infamous Capcom leak the other month revealed that it's coming to PC as well.
No, don't count. So they probably won't play it, which is a shame. But I don't know. It always, traditionally to me, Monster Hunter games were always that handheld game that you saw a group of people at gaming expos playing a corner. So it feels like more suited to handheld. But we'll see.
Because for so long it was this multiplayer focused game.
It's a PSP thing,
Yeah, they just didn't even bother putting online playing for ages because they were just like, well, no one needs it. Everyone just meets up and plays it.
Go around someone's house.
No, I haven't got any friends. Capcom, come on.
I do have. That's it, isn't it? You look at how little, like how few friends you've got. Then you think about them owning a PSP. Well, that's cut down a lot of them. And then you think of them that might want to play Monster Hunter, and there's the rest of them gone. So,
that's a hell of a set of filters.
Next thing you know, you're walking up and down the train before a train journey, going, "Anyone a nerd?"
When I lived in Shanghai, I used to see loads of people playing it on the
of course
subway.
you did, but no one else lives in Shanghai, do they, James? So
well, this was it because it was such a
it
was
26 million people. But yeah,
this is it. Yeah, like in
on
the
East. Show.
Like it was obviously in Tokyo as well. That was the thing. It's like, well, people are much more willing to meet up and play stuff together. Like online play hadn't taken off in the same way at that point. So yeah, it just wasn't seen as a priority for ages.
Yeah, but they don't have to. If in order to meet up with people and play the game, they don't have to meet up with British people, do they? So it's like that's where it falls apart for us. Fucking hell. Do you want to play a game? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Which way you voted? Oh, for fuck's sake, just leave me alone. I just want to get out of it now.
A couple of VR bits. I've been playing GORN again. I think I mentioned this ages ago. I streamed a bit of it. This is the one where it's like sort of cartoonish, sort of barbarians all in a big ring knocking the shit out of each other. And I'd done the exact same thing that happened last time I reinstalled it. In that I spent a good couple of hours being like, fucking hell, this is brilliant. Why did I ever stop playing this? And then I got to the same level I did last time where it forces you to have these like your hands turn into these like crab pincers. And initially like, oh fuck, this is hilarious. I can't wait to try this out. And they're just annoying as fuck. You have to like, in order to kill anyone with them, you have to grab a guy sort of by the chest and then grab their head and sort of pinch it and pull it off. But the physics are just weird and fucked, and you just can't kill people quickly off, and it's really annoying. And it's such a shame because the rest of the game is hilarious. But there you go.
I'll tell you what, I was disappointed when I saw this because I didn't know what this game was, and I thought it was something to do with Star Trek, and unfortunately it's not. And, but it does look like something I'd like to try.
I'm going to talk about Star Wars now, if that's any consolation. No, all right. So GORN is on like Steam VR, so I've been playing that sort of streamed to the Quest. However, this one, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, is the new Quest native one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's by the people who did Vader Immortal. It's very much in a similar vein.
Are you solving puzzles and climbing ladders?
I'm certainly picking some tools up and putting them into things and turning them. And...
yeah, that's
good. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's not done the. Obviously Vader Immortal was like, no, you're not a Jedi. You're just a random guy on a ship. You're not a Jedi. Ah, go on. Yeah, you're a Jedi. We're messing with you. I haven't done that yet. I think I am definitely not a Jedi in this one. But it's a much better shooter as a result. Like it seemed to focus way more on the shooting stuff. Like this, there's a whole intro sequence which is like, yeah, you're just working on a space station and fucking around with cargo and stuff, and then pirates show up and everything goes wrong.
Bloody pirates!
I know, fuckers, aren't they? It's just like I'm barely, I think I'm only like an hour into it, if that. But the actual like shooting set pieces are incredibly good fun, and it has this really nice thing of like. So you've got like a pouch on your chest which has like these little like drone droids that you can pick up and like just chuck into the air, and they do like either scan for enemies or they shoot enemies, distract them or whatever. And then like you have like a little health spray on your wrist, right? And it's just it's one of those, it's like, probably won't sound that good at all, but it's just an amazing feeling being in a firefight and you're like holding a rifle with like both hands, right, and like, shooting at people, and then just duck behind some cover, fucking reach to your wrist, grab the little spray and just in your face, click it back onto your wrist, grab the gun again and start firing again. And it's just, I was like, fuck, that just, like, because no one had to tell me how to do that. I just saw it and was just like, oh, that's probably how that works, and just did it, and it did, and it felt great. And it's just
the best
one of
moments
those
in VR.
Yeah, it's one of the little VR
moments.
moments. It's like, fuck, that was cool. So yeah, I've been properly enjoying that so far. I've also been playing a bit of Cubism, which is another Quest native one.
Bang out of order to cubes. Is that it?
Yeah. Not a fan of cubes. The old Cubism.
Maybe cubist, wouldn't it?
Go on,
Yep.
sure. I mean, I was half thinking about dropping that anyway, and James just comes along, whacks the handbrake on.
1-2 punch.
That will be a moment that Capone Adam will really enjoy listening to. God.
It's literally right. Maybe this will make me sound insane. When you were a kid, did you ever have those rubbers that were like, or erasers, I should say, that was like a cube shape, but you could sort of take it apart, and they were all different shapes?
No. I saw people with them, and
well, that's me.
Just
Dave.
get a normal one, you flash prick.
Further proof that we would never have been friends if we were
Absolutely not. Oh, this one rubs out ink. No, it don't, mate. No,
none of that shit.
No,
Just
I
the
know,
fact
but they're in the same group, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so yeah, those kids were my friends. Yeah. So it's basically that, right? And each level is just a series of these 3D shapes, and then all the sort of constituent parts are all scattered, and you just grab them and you put them in, and you figure out the best, the correct way to slot them together.
It's like a Krypton factor, right? That's a Krypton factor round, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They used to do that.
That sort of thing.
Oh, mate, they should do a Krypton fact. No, they shouldn't. I nearly went into a Eurogamer article then. Have you read those?
No.
Come on, you've not seen them? They should make a game about blank, and they're always like. I look at them and just go, "Don't do this to me." I just get angry at them, man. And I nearly fell into that trap. I'm surprised that I'd be astonished if there isn't already they should do a game about Krypton Factor. That article
must have been written several times over the decades, right?
Let me Google it. You carry on.
Maybe there must have been a Krypton Factor game. I bet it was rubbish.
Okay.
Yeah, that is literally it, and it's just one of those nice reminders that sort of realistic, immersive VR stuff is great, but also sometimes it's really cool if it's just putting pastel-coloured chunks into a shape to make a shape. And it's really nice, and it cost about £5, and I've had a really nice time with it.
What was that one that we played around Matt's on PSVR that was just like a puzzle game where you sit down and do a puzzle in front of you?
Oh, I can't remember. Which one was that?
It was, it was very similar, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You had to like pick things up and move them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've searched Krypton Factor video game. There doesn't seem to be one.
Holy shit!
I'm sure. I bet you there is one on the Spectrum. It's
Krypton Factor ZX Spectrum YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh man, shit. If this has it got like the? Oh my god, that has just burst my eardrum. Do you want to hear what the Krypton Factor video game sounds like?
I mean, by the sound of it, no. But go on.
Okay, let me just bring it up. I need to open it up on my phone now. Ready? Here we go.
Yep.
It's loading. Oh, the nostalgia of that TV show.
Was that wasn't even the theme, was it?
No, it's just.
I really like that drum though. That was amazing. Well into that.
I must admit I don't remember the theme, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Cubism. I sometimes I load it up and I spend about 10 minutes on it, and it makes my brain shut up, and it's quite nice.
How many times have I said the best VR games are the ones where you can just sit down and not think about what you're doing with your body?
Yeah,
they're the ones. standing up and punching or ducking and shoot. I don't want to do any of that.
Well, this is, because not so much with Star Wars, but like GORN, as fun as it is, and even, as good as the quests, system for warning you if you're about to punch the wall is, you're constantly holding back.
Yeah,
because you're like, what if I'm too quick for it to warn me that I'm about to kick
what if my son
wall
walks in front of me while I'm doing an uppercut?
I generally don't put it on when he's around. I have put it on him a few times because he started just going on about roller coasters the other day.
Yes,
and I was just like, I know what I can do, and just got a £3 roller coaster app for the quest. I was like, there you go, mate.
Do you like roller coasters, Sean?
No. Do I strike you as a risk taker, Dave?
That's not risk taking, though, is it?
You know what I mean?
Like
to me.
Bungee jumping, I would kind of go, yeah, I'd be a little bit. I wouldn't be too happy with that. Roller coasters, though.
Nah,
roller coasters.
Cannot do it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it when I'm driving in the car and I go downhill a bit too fast. So,
how about you, James?
Oh, I love them. I'm a big fan of the old roller coaster.
That's it then. That's it.
Hell.
Me and you are going somewhere then when lockdown ends, because I met Jo when I was 20. So since then, every time I've gone to a theme park, it's been with her, and it's been so disappointing because she hates roller coasters. She won't go on them. So she stands there and watches or waits while I queue up, which I feel guilty about while I'm queuing up, and then I go on it and I'm not having fun with anyone around, like going around. And I was thinking, well, Harry would be bang up for roller coasters. He hates them as well. I mean,
really?
He's only 6, but like even just the normal ones, he's like the little kids ones or whatever. He's like, nah. And I'm just like, now Charlie is a nightmare. He's an absolute nutter. So I'm hoping that there might be, Harry and Jo can go to the gift shop while me and Charlie are going crazy on the roller coasters. But in the meantime, James, me and you going to Orlando, Florida.
I'd be well up for that. I love a good roller coaster. Also, I mean, I've got the same thing because Chen hates them as well, and Rachel hates them. And I made her go on one once, and it was terrible. Because we went on this one.
You do feel bad.
It was like a water one as well, and she sat at the front.
Bubble Works.
And that wasn't a good idea. No, this was at Legoland actually.
Log run, yeah.
And it went down, and then it just dumped all the water on her. And she was traumatised. She was really upset. It was terrible.
I'll tell you what we did do. We went to a celebrity opening of a ride in Chessington, I think it was. It was the Walking Dead ride. And it was Jo, because Jo worked sort of in the industry, or she had contacts in the industry. We got invited to like the VIP opening for this ride, and they only had a few rides open, but one of them was that stealth one, the one that shoots up into the air and then shoots back down again. And I just went, Jo, there's no queue. I'm going on this 4 times in a row, right? You might as well come on for one. And I managed to drag her on it, and honestly, she nearly burst an eardrum. Like, the screaming was insane, and I just thought, I'm not going to do that again. She's proud of herself, though. I was proud of her, but, like, that's one. I love that ride. That's great. Matt's definitely a ride guy, right?
I'd imagine.
Right, okay.
Certainly is a ride.
That's the name of the episode. Ride guy. But yeah, because I remember when we, this is bad, when we went to Butlins with both our families, right? Mm-hmm. Our wives took the kids back for an hour to let us go on the flumes because it was toddler week, right?
Yeah.
There was no one using the flumes, but they were still on, so we could just keep going back up. And we did, and it was embarrassing because the lifeguards were like 19, and there's these 2 30-year-old men just repeatedly going on flumes and going, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go backwards. It's like pathetic. But yeah, no, of course Matt's into roller coasters. Of course
I did see, because obviously, I didn't want Isaac to spend half an hour with a VR headset on because he's only 3 years old. So I was like, look, that's enough of that. And he was like, well upset. So I was like, look, I'll find some on YouTube and stuff. So we were just watching like roller coaster videos on YouTube. Have you seen these ones in Switzerland where you're just in your own little car? Like everyone's just in like completely on their own. and you're just flying down fucking mountainsides. They look amazing.
Oh god, yeah. No, there's a story about. Okay. There's
people getting injured or dying.
There's a thing on Rollmuck.
No. There's a thing on Rollmuck about that. Have you seen any of the crashes from that?
No.
Right. Okay. It's no point getting into it now, but there's a whole story behind one of those videos that went viral.
It ended up on Reddit, didn't it? And went around. Yeah.
Yeah. While we're talking about theme parks, though, did you see the preview? Shigeru Miyamoto walking around Super
Yeah, we
Nintendo.
never talked about that, did we?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
my god. And you know the worst bit about that video is right at the end when he goes, and we're opening in several other locations, and none of them was anywhere near us. Like, I was just like, get one over here, please. Because I said to Joe, if we ever go, like, one thing I hate about theme parks is that I can't get out of my head how much of a rip-off they are. Like, it really pisses me off that if you want a burger, it's like 12 quid and it's shit. Right?
Yeah, if it was a good burger, right.
Yeah, you go to the gift shop and it's a soft toy and it's 15 quid and you're like, come on. And the one thing that really gets me, and it really, really winds me up, is the fast tracking stuff. It's like pay an extra 70 quid and you don't have to queue. That is literally rich people making poor people's day worse. Like, that is literally it, right? I hate it. I think it's so morally fucked that I get really, really angry about it, right? And I start staring them out as they're getting in front of us to the ride and stuff. But like, I said to Joe, if we ever go to this, like, Super Nintendo world, no matter where it is, right? That is the one instance where I said, I'm going to save up way too much money and not care about money while we're in there. Like, if I see a Mario T-shirt that I want, I'm going to have it. I mean, if Harry sees a Mario T-shirt that he wants, he's going to have it. All of that shit. Those bands, what? Oh, look at these bands. You could do all these activities. Yeah, they're 20 quid. Oh, fine. Just get me the bands because I'm doing the activities.
You see, that's me with the Star Wars one.
Yeah, I was saying that as well. Would you get that $300 lightsaber, though?
Oh, don't know. That's probably a bit much. But
it looked pretty cool. Have you not seen any of the stuff from that?
No, I haven't really. It's one of those where I'm like, I don't really want to know too much about it because I want to just go there and be like, oh yeah, I am literally in Star Wars now.
Do you know what, Sean?
Yeah, I guess.
I was gutted because we went to Disneyland's, like, Shanghai last time we were in China, and that was supposed to have, like, the whole Star Wars bit as well, and it was closed for the day that we went because they were, like, redoing it, and I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. I ended up going on the Tron light cycle many, many times to get over it. Because there was not much else to do.
Well, where's Dad? He's on the Tron light cycle.
Yeah,
why?
He's light cycling his grief
about Star Wars.
No, I did that thing that you did with the flumes, where I just kept going round and round and round because we got there early and just
crying.
Just trying not to feel anything.
That
was where I had that photo done with Woody, and that was.
Okay, let's not question it. Let's move on. People are going to want to see that now, James. That's the problem.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. At JCA Farley on Twitter. Right. Anything else, Sean?
That's all the games I've played.
James.
I finished Mass Effect Andromeda.
Hey!
Last time I talked about this game, I thought I was close to the end. Turns out I wasn't. I was only about halfway through, and felt quite annoyed as the game went on, because it's about I do think it's about twice as long as it needs to be, or it needed to be. It was ridiculous, like how long that game was. And even
do you think that was the case, right? Do you think that was the case, or is it more? I think that it could have been that long, but so much got cut towards the end of development that the second half of the game really felt like it dragged.
I don't know, because there's loads of filler in there, isn't there, James?
Yeah, and that's the problem, because it's completely ruined by constant busy work, just wasting time, like, of having to just go from place to place, just to talk to somebody, and going from planet to planet, and like going from system to system. Each time it takes a couple of minutes to do that, really, to like get to where you need to go to, just to have a quick conversation with someone. It's like, oh no, it's on this planet, and then you've got to go, all the way over to the other one or whatever.
Were you playing on the S?
I was playing on the Series S. And it
was the loading times decent, or was it still
the loading
pretty bad?
times were fine. It was quick. Like, it was quick at loading stuff. It's just the thing of having to like go from planet to planet is not quick.
Yeah.
Not because of loading, just because of the mechanics of having to do that. And even though there are some really nice story beats in there that I really did enjoy, the fact that it's so padded out, particularly in the second half of the game, really ruined it for me, like in a big way. I mean, I only cared about 2 characters like throughout the entire game. The rest of them were just non-entities, and you could never say that about any of the previous Mass Effect games. Like most of the characters in those games were fantastic and really interesting and great to spend time with. But this one just didn't care, really didn't care about any of them at all. And that's
James, sorry, James, just for everyone else's benefit. So James was asking me if I romanced anyone, and not only could I not remember, but I couldn't remember any of the crew. I couldn't, like, it wasn't even like, oh yeah, it probably would have been this person or that. Literally,
I remember the pilot
nothing.
because was that the one where the pilot was struggling between religion and a science belief?
There was her, yeah, and then there's a Solarium as well, who was also, she wasn't really a pilot. She was did scanning and all that kind of stuff, and but still, she was all right, but not really very interesting. I mean, none of them were very interesting at all. I mean, I like PB. Like, she was the only character I thought was interesting. And
which one was she? Oh, is that the AI that's in your head?
No, she was the Asari.
No, the Asari. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So she was reasonably interesting, but most of the characters really not interesting. And Drac wasn't too bad. The Krogan. He was a reasonably good character, but it went on for so long, and it was one of those things where because there were so many side quests as well, like ridiculous, like just tasks of go here, scan this or whatever. And the problem with that is, okay, it's fine, you can ignore that if you want to, but then it does affect like the rating that you get for like the ending and for like building up your crew and everything. And so I just decided at one point, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna not completely mainline this, because if I do that, I'm going to get a rubbish ending and it's not going to be very good. Instead, I'm just going to do the friendship quests instead. Like, I'm just going to get the loyalty stuff down and do those sorts of side missions. But then what it kept doing with that, which killed me, was that every time that you thought that you were kind of the end of something, it would then throw in another like thing that was just like, now you've got to go to this bar and just chat with somebody. And it wasn't even interesting conversation. It was never interesting conversation or anything at all. And that's what killed me with the game. Like, every time I was getting close to the end, I just thought, I mean, even the end of the game, you get through like the whole, like, it goes past the credits and then it brings up more missions to do, and they're just missions where you're not even doing missions, you're just chatting with somebody and it's not even interesting. And this is the thing that annoyed me the most about the game, that I thought was nowhere near as good as the first 3 games. In the others, whenever you like sort of made decisions, it felt like it mattered. Like, that there was some sort of like, there was like the sort of, the good, the bad, sort of consequences for it. In this, I didn't feel like anything mattered at all that I was deciding in this game at all. I thought it just didn't matter. No one cared at all, like what was going on.
I can't remember a single consequence for anything.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it was. I mean, and obviously, I'm half remembering stuff from years ago. But I remember like the gulf between the occasional massive set piece and most 90% of the game, which is just shitey busy work, is just huge. Like, there were just sections where I'm like, holy fuck, this is like a different game. Yeah, like, when that last bit where you're storming that final planet, and that, I thought that was incredible at the time. And it was just, and I was saying, like, some of the friendship missions, I think it was it Liam's in particular, where I was just like, did they get someone else in to write and make this?
Yeah.
Because it was just like such a huge shift. But then compare that to, you've found an alien egg, there's another 49.
Yeah.
Go and, fuck off. Like, it's
not just that.
So unnecessary, that stuff. Like,
but there was even stuff like towards the end of the game, you have to make decisions based on survival and who's going to survive and who's not going to survive. And I thought, okay, there's going to be consequences to this. There was none, at all. I was expecting that the race that I'd kind of was not so bothered about compared with the ones that I chose would be annoyed. No one said a thing. No one said anything. And I was just like, I'd be annoyed, like if I'd made that decision. Nothing at all. And that, I mean, the thing is, like what you said, Sean, about how this was developed in a very short period of time, wasn't it? They did, like they had years of it being kind of directionless, and then they spent like 12, 16 months or whatever, like crunching on it or whatever. And it is amazing that they got this amount of content like together with this, also that it's as coherent as it is, like considering that. But they would have been so much better served by just making this so much more focused and less bothered about it having to be big. And less bothered about having to visit all these planets. I'm sure that that's a holdover from when it was going to be procedurally generated, where they were just like, we've got to have all these planets, we've got to have all these places you go to. Don't bother. Just have like a small number, but some really tight, interesting stories. And it totally fails to do that. And that's why I got to the point where I was starting to feel annoyed, because I was just thinking, this is just throwing more story at me, but it's not good. Like, that's the problem. And it's like, I feel like I'm having to get through it so that I can get to the stuff that is good. And that's where I started to jump off it and feel irritated. And why Chen came down and saw me playing it and was just like, why are you playing this still? You look so miserable. And I was like, I'm just getting through to the end. I just want to finish it.
How many times has she said that to you, James?
Quite a few times. Yeah, quite a few times.
Yeah. Can I just, to summarise then, James? The year is 2021. How many hours have you put into Mass Effect Andromeda?
Can I include 2020 as well?
Yeah, of course.
That's about 40 hours, I think it was.
So,
which is
40 hours. Yeah. It's currently 2021. Is Mass Effect Andromeda a good game?
No.
That's 40 hours well spent.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know.
No, it's annoying because it's a game that there's potential. There was real potential here to do something interesting. Yeah. Particularly because where the story goes is great. Like, there's some really, really interesting things connected with the first 3 games as well. And it totally blows it, like, because of that. And it's that's what upset me.
Well, you should maybe I don't know if EA know. Maybe you should write an email, let them know that you weren't a fan of Mass Effect Andromeda.
That's the thing. I was saying to Sean, like, we were talking about this, like on like WhatsApp. It's like to me, this feels like this game was sent out to die. Like, because it wasn't part of EA's like games as a service future. They were like, just send it out, kill it, whatever. It's just such a shame. It's just such a shame.
Well, and I was saying to James, it was. I remember it was just horrible because. It was obviously, all the fuss around when it launched and the bad animations and dialogue and all that stuff, which was funny, to be fair. But it was. I remember there was like 1 week, suddenly people who were playing the multiplayer, which is fine, by the way. Multiplayer's all right. But I don't think it was as good as Mass Effect 3's, but that had, that was way better than it had any right to be. People were still playing it, and then suddenly one day they were like, "Oh shit, we're like," I can't remember if they were like picking up items or something, but basically like new bits of story were being filtered into it, and it was about like I think it was about the Quarians, or it was one of the other races that we didn't really see in Andromeda, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it's hinting at DLC," and then it was like a week later, EA confirmed nothing else is happening with Andromeda ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, man. It's like James says, it's not great, but there was potential there, and it's sad that we'll never get to see, what that game could have been if, the game that we ended up with was worked on for more than 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the case then, because if EA was so focused on this, games as a service thing, maybe they were told, look, you can't put out a 15-hour Mass Effect game. You know what I mean? It needs to be 40, and then they stretched it and pumped it with stuff. Maybe that's how it happened. I don't know.
And it makes you wonder, like, obviously, if they did it now, I think people are way more receptive to shorter and more focused games than they were, 4 or 5 years ago. But
this could have been a very good, like, 20-hour game. I really think it could have been so much better. But just the padding, man, it's just
Yeah, they need to bring out new games now, don't they? So we're not talking about Mass Effect Andromeda again. Right, okay, we done with the games we've been playing?
Yep.
Sounds like it.
Let's read a few emails out.
Questions.
James, it's 10:30. It's 10:30. We're on to the questions.
I know. Just don't say that, because now this is going to go on for another hour and a half or something stupid.
Well, what annoys me is that we've slowly been building up and releasing like 3-hour shows every week, and this one is probably going to be around the 2 hours and a quarter mark. I guarantee we'll get someone complain about it. Guarantee
It's fine
it.
because this is the Mass Effect Andromeda if it was done right.
Special.
Of podcasts. Yeah.
Maybe that's the episode title: Mass Effect Andromeda Special. the verdict.
Oh, please do that. Please do that.
Okay.
No one will download
right.
it. But yeah.
Let's go.
You want to contact us for some ungodly reason, visit tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Ricky Cartwright says, "Hey guys, love the podcast this week and it's great to have you back. I enjoyed listening to the Cyberpunk chat. I wanted to ask you guys a question related to it that I haven't heard anyone else discussing. Do you think that games media have dropped the ball with their coverage of this game? Were they acting too much like fawning fanboys instead of critical journalists? Considering how much of a mess this game was, I find it strange that in the run-up to release, I didn't hear anyone in the games media expressing any concerns about the game's quality. For the game's entire development right up until release, the message from the games press seems to have been universally that this game will be amazing, it's going to be the game of the year, etc. Obviously, the developers were trying to hide the game's flaws from the media, but bearing in mind how big the problems are with this game, I find it hard to believe that there weren't signs that there were going to be problems that the media could or should have picked up on. To be honest, I don't consume a huge variety of gaming media, so maybe some people were reporting on potential issues and I missed it. However, it does seem that as a journalistic body that's reporting to their readers or viewers on expensive media purchases, the games press must take some responsibility for how this has turned out. I'm certain that a large portion of the pre-sales were down to the articles, reports and comments from various games media personalities that this game would be incredible, and if they were reporting this without the due diligence of critically assessing it or spotting the development warning signs, then they'll fail their audience. What are your thoughts on this?
I think you're being a bit harsh, to be honest with you. That's my initial reaction. I think the media can only really report on what they've seen and what they've been presented, and we all know that that's taken with a pinch of salt, especially previews where they're being shown stuff in very controlled situations.
And like any preview is like any unfinished game is gonna have bugs and is gonna maybe seem like a piece of shit, and you do just have to apply a bit of obviously they're going to fix 90% of this. So, but then even then, I thought a lot of it, we were saying the other week that I thought some of the previews were still quite guarded. Like no one was full of praise for it. There was a lot of
do you reckon the marketing? Do you reckon the marketing around things may have given that perception that the whole of the media? Because I found the same thing, that a lot of the media that I was listening to and watching and reading, they were hopeful, but concerns were cropping up leading up to the launch.
All that stuff before as well about crunch and all that kind of thing that was going on that they were talking about a lot. And I don't know,
but that doesn't relate to the quality of the game, though, does it? No, but the fact that it had been delayed so many times, over a period of time, it felt to me like people were kind of saying this is a bit of a worry. All of this, not just
the media in general were clearly not giving CD Projekt Red an easy time of it.
No.
And then, and if you look at the reviews, obviously, so you go on Metacritic, of course, there are people right at the top who are just fucking hell, this is the best game ever, it's perfect. Of course, there's a few of those. But a quick glance, not any outlets I read on a regular basis. But then, even a lot of the positive reviews. I mean, the game I have played, the PC version, with some quite annoying bugs and stuff. I think even with those removed, to me, it's like a solid 8 out of 10 game, right?
And I think also it's important to note that some of those bugs, the top end gaming press that get to play these games before release to release their reviews, they're used to playing games with bugs in them because they tend to be before the day one patches release.
Exactly, and the message is always there's going to be a day one or day zero patch, and usually that's fine, and that sorts everything out. So you can usually, you have to just take it with a pinch of salt, really. And obviously a lot of writers will have felt incredibly, not embarrassed. I like most reviews I looked at, even the ones that loved it were yes, but it is also quite fucked. I didn't see anyone completely ignoring that fact, I don't think.
But wasn't there also a thing whereby reviewers weren't given the console versions of this anyway?
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
and you know, that's a red flag. But we've had situations like that before where that hasn't been an issue, or at least I've read about that happening before. And you know, it's not a new thing for a game to be reviewed in the best possible situation. You know, games have been reviewed in offices where they're made, you know, and obviously the hardware there is going to try and make it look and play as well as it possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't hear about it so much these days, but like they used to basically send journalists on holiday for a week, and you'd play the game in a nice hotel somewhere, and you know, as I say, it doesn't tend to happen these days because there's obviously concerns that it will skew people's opinions. I should be clear, not that it's much of a holiday, because you still, as a journalist, you're still spending 8 hours a day playing the fucking game, even if the game's good, it's work. But yeah, like these were the circumstances under which games would sometimes be reviewed.
So I think it's hard to literally point the finger at them. I mean, I don't know all the reviews you read, and maybe you did come across a few, or the usual channels you get your reviews from. They did take that stance where they were overhyping it and clearly, you know, dropped the ball with things. Maybe got caught up in hype. I'm not saying that's impossible. What I'm saying is that it doesn't really reflect the reviews that I was reading and the opinions that I was hearing when that game came out. And the people that were raving about it seemed to genuinely enjoy it, but also have reservations about the bugs and how it was going to run on console. I mean, that was the phrase I heard a lot. I don't know how this is going to run on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I don't know how it's possible. Turns out it's not really. So,
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't envy anyone who had to review this. Just for the fact of, you know, how big the game was, and then obviously if you finally get your copy of it and you're playing it and you're like, there's actually quite a few problems here, but it is a complicated game to discuss because there is a lot to love about it. It's just you've got to maybe dig a bit more for it than maybe people wanted to. But also the fact they only had about a week to play it as well. So they were probably smashing through the campaign. And like if you play that game and you just mainlined all the campaign stuff, you're seeing all the most polished cinematic stuff and maybe not clocking that there's like the stuff around that is not half as well fleshed out. Bit of a Mass Effect Andromeda, if you will. That's harsh. But it's just a whole weird set of circumstances under which to review this game. But that said, as I say, I do think, I'm pretty sure every review I saw was like heavily caveated with there are bugs and we played the PC version because that is all we've had access to. And obviously, you know, IGN did, you know, their review of the PC version, I think got a 90, and then they did a separate review of the console versions, which was just like, do not fucking buy this game. It's a disaster. So... It's a whole mess. But yeah, overall, I don't think anyone's been, you know, professionally or unprofessional rather. I don't think anyone's been dishonest.
And I will say this, and this might sound cynical, and I might review this next week when I've heard me say it back, right?
Yeah.
But there's something in the back of my mind that's thinking, if you're relying on reviews to decide whether you're going to buy a game or not, then by the time you decided whether to buy this game or not, you would have realised that the PS4 and the Xbox One version's fucked. I think you would have already have purchased the game before reading those reviews. Yeah. Which I'm not sure I'm fully behind that opinion. I need to think about that more. Maybe that's a dicky thing to say, I don't know, but that's where my brain's at tonight.
I know what you mean though. Yeah, how do I say this without sounding cynical? Like, the marketing was slick as fuck, and I don't believe it was. You know, I'm not saying it was like in an intentionally dishonest way, but like, as a consumer, I was fully swept up by it. I couldn't fucking wait for that game, and it's good. I do like it, but it's not the second coming. You know, so I do wonder if, like, you know, among people's perceptions, it's like, well, you see all the marketing, you see how slick it is, and then you see a game say, like, it's, you know, 9 out of 10. There are some bugs. You look at the 9 out of 10 because that confirms what you wanted to hear, right?
Yeah, but that's a statement, though. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, no, that's not like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. So the journalist hasn't been dishonest, but there's the temptation to be like, oh, yeah, apparently there's bugs, but whatever. You know.
I was a little bit like that. I was saying as a consumer, I was saying to James, like what James sort of said to me, have you heard about all these bugs in Cyberpunk? Like about a week before it come out, and I said, yeah, but we played Fallout games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And we've heard from listeners who are like, yeah, it's a bit buggy, so what?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's just it's one of those games like I think we'll be picking it apart for a long time.
Yes, for sure.
Both in terms of the game we ended up with, the journey to it getting there. I think it's going to be a case study for a lot of things for some time to come.
For sure.
But yeah. Right. Next question. Jamie says, due to the COVID and some other circumstances, my 2-week Christmas holes were spent solo in my flat, which was a bit fucking depressing. What ended up being a great source of entertainment and comfort was going back through old TCGS episodes, and I wanted to say thank you.
Really? I'm so sorry.
It says, are there any games, movies, TV, etc. that you go back to for comfort when stuff's a bit wank? He also says, best wishes for a better 2021. Titanfall 2 was robbed.
Cheers. I totally agree. Not really. I mean, I guess we were doing that with FIFA. I've spoken about it on the show. I guess we were doing it with FIFA. It was something to focus on. Animal Crossing, we've mentioned. I think something that really helped me out when I was really low was a comedy show called Ted Lasso. We blitzed through that whole series. And my God, that show is so feel good that by the end of it, like you start watching it and you're going, oh my God, this is one of the most cheesy, awful comedies I've ever seen in my life. And then from about episode 3, you're like, I love every single one of these characters, and it's surprising at every opportunity. So yeah. I mean, if you've not seen Ted Lasso, don't be put off by the fact that it's a football-based comedy, because really, it's not about football at all. It's a wonderful television program. So that really helps us out, actually.
I will get on that because I've blagged a mate's Apple TV login. So
you absolutely have to watch that, Sean. Go into it.
It's brilliant. I enjoyed it. It
pisses on all of the rules of comedy for the past 20 years or since The Office come out. And at first you're like, this is like one of those 70s comedies where it's cheap jokes. Like the characters are so cartoony that it's ridiculous, and then it just you fall in love with it so much. It's so good. Yeah,
cool. No,
James, what's your answer? I'd love to hear this. I was Phoenix Wright, right?
Well, yeah. There's I've gone back to that many times because it is a comfort kind of thing to play through. But I think in terms, like Star Trek, I go back to that frequently when I'm feeling like that because I do find it very comforting for some reason, and yeah, I guess. Animal Crossing as well has been brilliant for that. To keep going back to. Yeah, I think
The Office as another one, isn't it?
Yeah,
repeats.
Loads of old comedy shows and stuff like that I often go back to. Yeah.
Sean?
So this is more of a specific one, but I ended up having a really good Christmas, but in the run up to it, like the few days before, I was, this year especially. Just like, I'm not feeling this at all. Like, it hasn't hit me yet. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, man.
It's so good. Some of the quotes in that we still say to each other. Is Rusty still in the Navy? We say that to each other all the time. Over Christmas.
Such a good film.
It is a good one.
So yeah, that properly just fucking catapults me into it when I need it. Other than that, I think that's. I definitely had a phase of
the shitter was full.
Sorry,
go on.
I had a phase of watching I Think You Should Leave on repeat.
That's good.
Yeah, when I was going a bit mad working from home, and I was just, and there was a good, God, it must have been a couple of weeks where I was during work hours, I was just I don't want this to ever not be on.
Yeah,
I just had it on a loop.
I did that with the Run the Jewels albums from 1 through to 4. For about 2 months, I listened to them 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 every single day for about 2 months. It was weird, but good. I love that stuff.
Right.
But...
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS Cortanas, While your predictions for 2021 were exceptionally entertaining, the start of a new year can get tedious with chatter about beginnings and promises rarely kept. So I'm going to ask you about the end. Which game do you feel has best prepared you for an apocalyptic situation? Like Shaun and the Shaun and the Dead lads using Resident Evil to get them through a tough time. I could see James donning the bandana from Days Gone to get shit done.
Go on, James.
Definitely Days Gone. I'm getting a motorbike and I'm going off.
Rocket League, because when the world's gone, I'm gonna get a big inflatable football, go down my local rec with my car, because I don't need it anymore and I'm going nowhere, and I'm just gonna drive it around and fucking try and score goals with it. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, you're instantly supposed to go, oh yeah, how am I gonna kill people to survive? I'm gonna get a big inflatable ball, go down the wreck and drive it around and try and get it into the goals. That's what I'm going to do.
No, I'm going to put the bandana on and I'm going to drive around on my bike and I'm just going to mutter to myself like things. It's going to be great.
You're going to fall off on the first corner. Have you ever ridden a motorbike?
No, I haven't actually. Although
you know those ones where you see them racing and they lose their balance and they go wobbly? That's James from the moment like at 4 miles an hour.
Neither of you have watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, have you?
Yeah, I watched it.
Country Mac.
I don't know the references though.
About 3 listeners just went, oh yeah.
I watched about 4 or 5 seasons, and I've kind of got a little bit.
I mean, that's probably enough. Probably enough to be honest.
A bit much.
What's my answer for this question? Did you ever play I Am Alive?
I think I did.
That downloadable Ubisoft, back when a downloadable game was like a sort of bit of a novelty. That was weird because it was like this post-apocalyptic game where you'd meet people and they would need like an item that you'd have to find elsewhere, and sometimes you just wouldn't have the thing, and then you'd be like, well, I better go and find it, and then they'd be like going like, please don't leave me, I need my cigarette case or whatever.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, no, I'm coming back. I'm going to go and find it. But there was no option to. I don't know.
Were they still there when you come back?
Yeah, I think so.
And did they react? Did they go, oh?
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you were. Oh, cheers. It's my cigarette case. Thank you.
What about Breath of the Wild? Learn how to cook. Learn how to kill. Learn how to save villages. Yep. Yeah. You could take out Calamity Ganon.
And that is a post. You forget that Breath of the Wild is a post-apocalyptic game.
Yeah, when someone says post-apocalyptic, you instantly think Fallout, right? But what if it's not like that? What if it's all right? What if it's just people just going, all right?
I've definitely told this story before. When I got Fallout 3, I got this special edition. Shouldn't have bothered. But there was a little making of book. And there was just a section in that were like, we wanted this to be all scientifically accurate, and we're like, right, what would it actually look like 100 years after all the nukes went off? And there's like, oh, it'd be really beautiful and great because humanity's fucked off and all the plants would be like, way, let's go. And all the buildings would be leveled and there'd just be beautiful forests everywhere.
You imagine that Fallout game,
Horizon Zero
you
Dawn,
come out the vault. You come out the vault and people are going, you all right? Yeah, just got out of the vault. Yeah, fucking, that was mad, wasn't it? We're out now. What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, there's a town there. Is there raiders and monsters? No, it's empty. We just set it up. We're going to play some table tennis at 8.
Got some eat out to help out. We're doing that.
But that is Breath of the Wild, though, isn't it? It's like the world is already recovering.
No, it's not recovered at all, is it? There's a massive monster fighting a princess in the centre of it, and it's scattered with massive tank things.
That's just all sealed away. There's like all the villages have started rebuilding and stuff.
Everyone knows that. There's those huge, great big things that wander around and shoot things at you, and goblins in little camps.
Yeah, but they're all in the middle. Everyone just avoids that. You just see loads of people just travelling about, and they're just like, there used to be more people.
It's totally fine. What is that massive bird thing? Come on, Sean.
No, they're all just like, there used to be more buildings, there used to be more people. Well, so what?
There's an elephant pissing on a whole town from a great height. You have to go and stop that.
Yeah, but you fix it, and it's the water place anyway, so they're not that bothered.
It's the water place.
Point is, it's quite as apocalypses go, it's one of the more cheerful ones.
It is, but it could be more cheerful. What if someone said, look, we found a generator, we found a DVD player, we found a TV, and we've got a copy of season 1 and 2 of The Office. So come round to mine at 6, we'll do that, and we'll eat the berries. Like, brilliant. I'll play a game like that. I wouldn't. It'd be boring, it'd be dull. I want to shoot things. Next question.
Alex B. Says, good evening, TCGS Co. I'm Google forming in as I recently bought Disco Elysium on Steam following your very positive reviews of it. However, following the announcement of the final cut with some added content, I'm not sure whether it's worth leaving it dormant in my Steam library until March or just playing a very slightly inferior experience now. Any insight would be appreciated, and thanks for keeping up the great podcast throughout 2, or is it 3 or 1 lockdowns. Just late last year, I played through Yakuza 0 and Nier Automata, which James and Sean recommended, which are now some of my favourite games of all time. Thanks and hope you're well, Alex.
Nice.
I would hold on, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the final cut is going to be like radically different. I think that the main, aside from any substantially new content, I think just the fact that everyone's got full voice acting in the new one
that'd be a big help. Yeah.
We never really talked about this, did we? Because that was a fascinating answer to the problem of, we said like, oh, well, if they put it on the Switch, like that's a lot of reading you're going to have to do. No, it isn't. Yeah. If you can just listen to the dialogue instead.
Some of the voice acting is a bit weak, though, isn't it? I hope they've addressed that.
Yeah, I hope they've re-recorded.
As long as Kuno's fine, then it's okay.
Yeah, Kuno needs to say exactly.
But then even Kuno,
this is coming to Switch, isn't it? Like it's definitely happening. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, but is it going to get the final cut one? And when is it coming out?
Yeah,
March, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
You're the news guy.
Suddenly unsure. But yeah, everything's getting... So yeah, basically the console version is the final cut version, and anyone who's got it on Steam is getting a free upgrade, I believe.
Oh, I might play that again.
Or you can pay 250 quid for the stupid fucking limited edition for pricks. I've been very disappointed with the way they've handled merchandise. I've not tweeted about this because I'm pretty sure that...
This is like the 8th time you've mentioned it on the show.
I don't think we've talked about it on the show, have we? We were talking about it in WhatsApp the other week.
100%. You've mentioned it on the show.
Okay, well, it's still shite. I haven't tweeted about it because I'm pretty sure the official Disco Elysium account still follows me, and I don't want to upset them, but the merchandise is fucking wank. There you go.
Sorry, Sean. That's the way it goes.
That's all right. It's not your fault. Jamie John says, Dear TCGS, wishing you all a belated Happy New Year. My question is this: if you could quit your day jobs and make a living out of talking about, writing about, or streaming games, would you? Why not?
No.
Yeah, it's a no from me as well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, on the one hand, it sounds amazing, but you just sort of think, I'm in my mid-30s.
I'm in my mum's car. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why that came into my head then. Sorry. Come on.
And you just sort of think, well, like at the moment, I have a career that theoretically will last me until retirement age. How long can I carry on talking about video games and trying to be funny before it starts to get a bit embarrassing?
That is true. That is very true.
I mean, that's a terrible thing to say.
Would you like to be a footballer? Yeah, but I'm 36 now. You know what I mean? It's bollocks, right? Because obviously, people who play games are getting older. By the time we're 50, there'll be enough of an audience for who want to hear 50-year-olds talking about playing games. But at the moment, it seems odd. Would we have to like slide into the Digital Foundry thing because they get away with it, don't they?
That's true. Yeah.
For me, it's just more that it's my hobby, and turning a hobby into a career is not necessarily a bad thing, but potentially could ruin something that you absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think it just feels like a really unstable thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the security of knowing that I've got the job that I have, and I'm going somewhere with it. And like, I don't know where you would go from there.
I mean, and say you quit your job tomorrow, Dave, and we were like, right, TCGS full time, and it pays well, and we have a good 20 years, 25, 30 years of that, and then you're in your mid 60s, and then you've got to be, and then like right, it's all wrapped up now. It's we're done. I've got to find another job. I'm gonna pick up my
Can you
career.
Imagine like how
as an
jaded you
architect.
feel by that point?
For starters, you said I'm mid-60s in 20 years.
Sorry, no, I said like 25, 30.
Oh, right, okay.
No,
Could you imagine
I will be
James doing the
mid-60.
news when he'd be no, you'd be 70.
But like,
you imagine James doing the news in that situation. Oh, there's a new VR. It'll just kill me.
but do you know what I mean? Like,
know.
you'd have to go into a job interview and be like, so I was an architect back in the 2010s.
A real architect? No, it's a long story. Don't let me go. I've got to specify that I wasn't actually an architect. Otherwise, Matt tries to call me out on it.
And then you're like, oh, and then what did you do? Well, I fucked around with my mates for 30 years talking about video games, and for some reason, people very kindly paid us money for it, and now that's over. So I guess I'm back to the old drawing buildings. So
welcome to the government. Sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
James.
And again, this is all sort of weird. I guess I'm revealing all sorts of hang-ups I have about the legitimacy of talking about computer games for money. But I would feel silly going back into a job interview and being like, oh, well, this is what I did. Just pissed about.
That is definitely putting it down because, people have made an excellent career out of it and they are happy with it and stuff. Sean, that's out of order, mate. And
I was also thinking, like, we definitely know podcasters who are 50 or thereabouts, so apologies to all of them.
Oh my God, Sean, you've offended everyone.
Yeah.
James. Anyway, Clean and Rinse is available on your. Go on, James. Go on, this.
No, just like you, I like to keep these things kind of separate, really. I like this as a hobby, and, something to look forward to. I do look forward to it, kind of. And, it's something which is a bit different.
Sorry.
Dean says, hey, TCGS bastards. Which is a pretty good way to start a message, isn't it?
I've got time for that. And now I don't feel bad for going, Dino. We got in so much trouble for that at school once when we found out our teacher's name was Dean. And whenever we saw him, we all chanted, Dino, until he went absolutely ballistic at us. Like, shut the door and stood by the door so no one could get out and fucking went mental about us chanting Dino at him. Like, as he was walking around the school.
It's one of those weird, like, prison psychology things, isn't it? Where they were like, if I don't assert myself now...
Definitely.
This is just going to go on.
And not only that, it must be pretty bad, right? Because if one of your classes starts shouting Dino at you, you know that other classes will hear about it and it will spread. And because it's a rolling escalator of children through that school, you know that's going to last for your rest of your career. That is it. Okay.
So Dino says me.
Thanks for emailing, Dean. Right, what's up next?
It says, me and an Xbox buddy of mine, shout out to John Ladd,
John.
got into a bit of a heated debate. After asking the same question to multiple other people, we've concluded that maybe it's just another example of a north-south divide, but I can't seem to find much evidence online. Seeing as the show has decent regional diversity, I'd be keen to throw the question out there and get a spread of different thoughts on the matter. When making jam on toast, honey on toast, Marmite on toast, a cheese spread sandwich, etc., do you butter the bread first? Coming from Manchester, I can confirm that putting butter with jam on toast or on a jam butty sounds utterly ridiculous, and I just can't believe it's actually a thing. A couple of half-baked butter-based puns for you there, Matt. Matt doesn't read the questions out, Dean. Matt doesn't read the questions out. Sending lots of love during these shite times. Thanks for the ongoing effort you guys put into making an incredible pod.
Yeah, of course you put butter on it. You absolutely put butter on it. Just a small toast, amount of butter on it.
I mean, I don't even know if I have a preference.
It's dry as fuck if you're just whacking a bit of jam on top of toast.
Hang
Depends
on,
how much jam you use.
Is this talking about the process, though? Because I make the toast and I put the butter on it, like, so it melts.
Okay.
Is this saying...
All right, James.
Is this saying that I've got to butter the bread before I toast it?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Surely not. That's insane.
James has got the complete wrong end of the stick.
Anyone who thinks he should do that needs to go to prison.
The idea of not having butter on it is so alien to James that he assumes that you've got it wrong.
Imagine Marmite on toast without any margarine or whatever.
I mean, fuck Marmite on toast anyway.
Like, why would you do that?
I've not heard the term margarine in about 20 years, James. To be honest with you,
yeah, it's just
I don't have butter. I use margarine.
Now, just spread. What I found interesting, so he says jam on toast, honey on toast, Marmite on toast, or a cheese spread sandwich, etc. Who has a cheese sandwich with no marge on it?
Yeah, no, that's weird. You're using margarine now.
I know,
are you thinking back to one of those times where everyone had those big
bringing it back
round tubs of it with the sunflower on top? Do you remember them?
Yeah.
They were
Vitalite. Yeah, Vitalite.
Vitalite, that's it. Yeah, Vitalite. Oh. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced in my family. Did you bring any Vitalite? No, you've got to have butter on it. I'm glad you said that, Sean. Because...
I'm just going to go back through the message. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but just to point out, spread of different thoughts on the matter. Utterly ridiculous, utterly botterly. Can't believe it's actually a thing. Can't believe it's not butter. Half baked, etc.
Well done, Dean.
Yeah. Have you noticed? I can't believe it's not butter. I don't think it's called that anymore.
They're not allowed to, are they?
Yeah.
It's what's it called now? Is it called? I can't
believe it's so good.
Oh no, isn't it Utterly Butterly?
No, that's a different one. Different brand.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Isn't it Utterly Butterly? What is it? I can't. I'm googling a lot tonight.
I'm sure it's like I can't believe it's so good or something.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
that's it. I can't believe it's so good.
But of course, you don't even read the words. You just see the package. And can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. UK rebranding in February 2017. I can't believe we're going here.
Neither can I.
They rebranded the product as I can't believe it's so good. ... for everything. Right, Matt Murray must have had a hand in that. I can't believe it's so good. ... for everything. It's not, is it? Not for everything. It can't fix Joy-Con drift, I assume.
I might.
Nah.
It's basically the same thing as WD-40. It's oil.
Is there anything you wouldn't have butter with, on toast? Beans? Do you have? I don't eat beans on toast.
I don't.
Do you butter
if I'm having peanut butter, I don't use it. I just use the peanut butter on its own.
But the peanut butter's not really butter, though.
No, but it just feels like overkill.
Fulfills the function of. Yeah, okay.
I've never understood Americans putting butter on popcorn. I've never got that.
And do you know, I've never tried it. I wouldn't go out my way. I just
don't like the idea of it.
No.
How do you pick the fucking popcorn up? Didn't you get hands with butter all over your hands and shit? I hate it when a bit of butter slides off the toast and goes in between your fingers. That makes me feel rough. Anyway, right, shall we move on?
Next question. James, I'm going to overrule you. I've allowed you to request one deletion of a question, and I did it, but I like this one, and I like the guy's name who sent it in.
Before you read it out, right?
Yeah.
This is bad now, because this person knows that James tried to delete their email. So, go on.
That's the risk James takes when he tries to interfere in my section.
Good point.
Mitchy Mitch.
No stories you suggest are ever getting in the news ever again, Sean.
I never insist that they should. They're just suggestions.
Go read the question
which you're free to ignore. Mitchy Mitch says, "Hey guys, one of my favourite pastimes after gaming is watching live music, which has obviously been completely curtailed over the last 12 months. I've been listening to the podcast for around 2 years now, and over that time I've picked up little snippets relating to your varied music tastes. My question is simple. If you had to agree on a band or group to go and watch live together, what would you choose?"
What a question.
Exactly. James didn't want that.
What didn't you like about that, James?
It's a fine question. It's just that it's 11:10, and I was hoping that we'd be finished. And it's like this is going to add another 20 minutes to the running.
I don't think it will, because ultimately, there isn't much crossover in our taste in music, right? So I think we've just got to pick.
I'm just grateful Matt's not here, because otherwise we'd be going to see Taylor Swift or something like that. I'm not up for that.
I don't know,
it's
man.
It's just got to be an act that we know we'd all just have a good fucking time, right? It'd be like Europe or something. Fuck it, let's all go see Europe. No? Final countdown? Come on.
No. No.
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, I don't know. Shit. We'll answer this when Matt's back next week, I think.
Okay, all right, we'll stow it.
Should we stow it? Or should we make Matt come to a gig with us? He's got no
What's a gig where Matt would just be really intimidated and out of
James
place?
would be the hardest one to choose. I'm sure there's a band that we both bonded over, Sean.
Was there?
At one point.
I can't remember.
Was it? I know that we've had a brief chat about Courtney Barnett, I think, but I'm assuming you didn't listen to much of her stuff after that.
A bit, but yeah.
That would be good, but I don't think James would like that at all. Is it Courtney Barnett? I don't even know if that's the right name. I'm terrible with names. James would like the Foo Fighters, but I don't know if I can go and see them again. I've seen them so many times, and
okay.
I've seen them so many times, and the show is exactly the same every time that it gets. When he goes up to the front and says, "People are getting crushed at the front, everyone move back," and then plays My Hero. Like, every time it makes me go, oh, come on, man.
I mean,
nicest
I
guy
could
in
go
rock,
for
mate.
Queens of the Stone Age. I'd love
I was gonna
to go
say,
and see that again.
I wouldn't want to take. I wouldn't want to take. It's too much of a risk. Because if Sean sits there and doesn't have a good time, I'll be fucking furious.
I don't know how you
the
could
thing
not.
is,
I don't know how you could not. It was so good.
See, that me having a good time at a gig is me standing towards the back, nodding away. That's how I enjoy gigs. So you don't have to worry. We wouldn't even see each other for the entirety of the gig.
Yeah.
And then I'll just pull you out at the end and get you on a stretcher and we'll be fine.
It's like a really big act that you wouldn't mind. Like, there must be. I would have said Elton John up until I saw him do that lockdown show. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll wait.
I'll tell you what. Daphne and Celeste. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Fuck it. Right, last one.
No. Go on.
MD Kraboffs says, "Dear Tory conference gone soft. What do you remember most about your first job?"
The first payslip I got, and how I couldn't believe that because it was about £300, and I thought this is the most money I've ever had in my life.
What was your first?
Did you spend it all the next day?
Pretty much.
What was your first job?
Or were you like Michael Banks, where your dad took you to the bank and said, "Look, you need to invest that money," and there was this whole song in the foyer, and you were like, "But I want to feed the birds, Dad." No.
It was the first one from because I was working at the co-op, and I got paid, and I thought this is amazing. I went out and bought some N64 games. It was
nice.
I mean, and considering how expensive they were, that was about 2 games. It was.
What games? Do you remember what games?
2 Christmases in one go.
Yeah, I bought Episode 1 Racer. I remember buying that. And what else did I buy? Oh, and I also bought GoldenEye because I didn't have it.
Oh,
and it was cheap.
Okay, good purchase.
So top of the bill, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah, and then GoldenEye.
Supported by GoldenEye.
Yeah. and a Rumble Pack. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you got to get that Rumble Pack.
Yeah,
for sure.
What was your hourly rate? Remember?
I told the story about my first ever job, haven't I? Auto Trader.
Oh my God, yes.
Have I told it on the show?
You're phoning people up and someone called you a cunt and you said, "Yeah, I am," or something.
Yeah. I lasted 2 days. I didn't make one sale for Auto Trader magazine. And I phoned someone up and they called me a cunt. And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because I'm just sitting down for a meal. I don't want people ringing me up and asking me to spend money. You're just interrupting my day. Why that?" And I just went, "That's a fair point." And they went, "What?" "It's a fair point. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't like it." I said, "Well, just leave." I went, "Oh, I will." Just stand up. I walked into the manager and went, "I don't want to do this. This is rubbish." Okay. And they didn't pay me for the 2 days that I worked there either. So, fuck Auto Trader.
I mean, it's weird because my first job ended up. I mean, I basically stayed there on and off for about 10 years. So, trying to pick one thing that I remember, it was like a big part of my life for a while. So actually picking one thing. And I'll tell you what, favourite memory. So working in catering, I was the dish pig for a long time. Technically, kitchen porter, but I used to do the dishes. And at one point, we had one manager that no one liked. She was like an area manager, but she'd sometimes come in and just like be manager for the day. Yeah, everyone hated her. And then one day I was like washing up in the sink, and she was bringing in the tills at the end of the day to count all the cash and everything. And because I was quite messy when I was doing the washing up, all the floor was wet around me, and she walked behind me and fully went on her arse in all the water that I'd splashed on the floor. And initially I was like, I feel sort of bad about this. Actually, this isn't good. Like, but part of me's laughing, but she wasn't young, right? And it sort of felt a bit awful. And then the head chef, Jason, was like, Sean, get around here. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake, here we go. I'm going to get fucking bollocked by the head chef now. Walk through to the kitchen, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a £1 coin and just gives it to me.
Wait, hold on. Was this an episode of Keenan and Kel?
No. Well,
I mean,
if it is, then
like
they
you've
copied
remembered
it
an
from my
episode
life.
of Keenan and Kel.
Is it actually an episode of Keenan and Kel?
Oh, no, I'm joking. But
Okay.
it does sound like an episode of Keenan and Kel, to be fair. Chris would have given him what would have been $1, actually, Sean, if I remember correctly.
A crisp bill, but no, you just gave me a little pound coin, didn't say a word, just turned away.
How shit is that, though? £1. Fuck off.
I mean, this was a long time ago. This is when I only got paid about £3.20 an hour, so...
Yeah.
So
right, okay, that's the end of your questions this week, and that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to do the please contact us thing, Sean, at the end?
Well, that's James's
James
section now, isn't it?
What?
It's time for the socials, mate. It's
Yeah,
time
mate.
for the
Do you know,
socials.
I was thinking about this. I don't want to do it. Do I have to do it?
Yes.
Because
I don't want you looking at the
Why?
document. I don't want you looking at the document. Just do it from memory, because people love it. People love it, and Matt hates it.
I mean,
so it's
James,
worth doing.
there's only one regular stream to remember this time, and it's
Yeah, go on.
yours. So
Go.
what things do I have to remember? It's like, okay.
No,
if you
I'm
wanna
not telling you. What
Alright,
things
alright.
do I have to remember?
No,
Think
I don't
about that
remember.
question.
Okay, it's the socials. Right, okay. We've got a Twitter account, which is at TCGS Co. You can send us messages on there. We've also got... I assume we've got a Facebook account, haven't we? Have we got one of those? Yeah? Okay. You can probably contact us on there, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I'm sure you can definitely do that. Then we've also, if you want to contact us, there's the form on the website. You can. Does that still exist? Because I can't remember if that exists either. But there's also email. You can email us at something. Hang on a minute. Please don't do this to me, please, because I genuinely can't remember what the address is for that, which is terrible. We also do streams. Although only one at the moment, which is mine, which was a disaster last weekend. It didn't work out so well because I'm having problems connecting my PSN account to the TCGS account, so it didn't work properly. We had to do a rebroadcast. Nobody watched it. I felt very depressed. It wasn't very good. But maybe I'll fix that this week, and that'll be on Friday from 9:00. We're doing a Patreon show soon, I think, and so that'll be out soon. That's it. I can't think of anything else. That's it.
Thank you for living it. We will catch you next week, hopefully with a full crew, but if not, whatever. We'll still have a bit of fun, innit? Say goodbye, everyone.
bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.